Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rainbow Six North America Last Chance Qualifiers. 8 teams battling it out to try and get that final NA spot for the Manchester Major. My name's Sierra Dawn. I'll be your host throughout the LCQ. And joining me on the desk, we have none other than Lax and Jesse. First off, Lax, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. It's going to be a banger of some matches. I even got this ready for the day because it's going to be stressful. So a lot of these players are going to need this right next to their mouse.
Honestly, you're kind of spinning facts. I kind of forgot a stress ball. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to find one during the first series. Jesse, are you ready for today?
I'm so ready, Sierra. I think it's gonna be a great day. We got 8 fantastic teams here in the LCQ. And I gotta say as well, welcome to Rainbow Six, the first time having you on, and happy birthday. So I'm hoping the teams can gift you with some great matches today.
It's all of our birthdays, actually. We all can say happy birthday to each other, technically a belated.
Yeah, you're right.
Lax, Jesse, happy belated. That's honestly crazy. All of our birthdays are 3 days apart. I don't think I've ever been a desk on this before, but
It was meant to be.
Honestly, this is the best birthday gift, though. I'm so happy to be here and figure out who's going to be taking that last NA spot for the Manchester Major. A lot of this is still yet to be filled in, Lax, but we got a couple of already decided things.
Yeah, I gotta talk about the Korean League and the Japanese League. I mean, Keg is a no-brainer to me. Fear is no-brainer to me as well. And then the biggest question, obviously, since we've been working the NAL, is who's coming home? Well, now who's coming home? Who's going to Manchester from our region?
Who's going far from home? Who's going on a little trip? That's definitely going to be the question. Who's going to be joining the teams that we've already sent qualified throughout stage 1 and through the playoffs? We saw Beast Coast, M80, and Dark Zero take their place there, Jesse. And honestly, they've played really well. I'm excited to see how they'll do there.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole world's sending some really interesting teams. Obviously, Beast Coast going to their first major, E1 going to their first major, Into the Breach going to their first major, ITB and BDS both just qualifying earlier today. So already we're getting a ton of teams locked down for Manchester. And at the end of the next 3 days, we're going to have one more North American team joining them, of course, going to phase 1. So we're really starting to shape up and getting ready for Manchester.
We definitely have a fun bracket ahead of us, too, of teams that are going to competing their way on through, or at least try to. Only one out of the hopeful 8 will make their way through here. And Lax, when I'm looking at these teams, too, I mean, we have 5 from stage 1 and 3 that made their way through the qualifiers. There are some really strong names here.
Yeah, I mean, you got Oxygen, you got Wildcard, you got Sonics, you got Luminosity, you got Space Station, all very strong. And honestly, the standings, when you look at it, they're all relatively close. Had one team just won a game, they easily could have found themselves in a better position in playoffs. But again, they are all here today, and everyone needs to bring their A game. And then you look at SSG Academy, you got Los Mangos, you got Makers. These guys are up and comers. This is the time that they can prove themselves and make a major, and possibly in a situation, maybe get picked up by one of these pro teams.
And to break down how we're going to be scheduling this out, we're going to be kicking it off with Oxygen versus SSG Academy. Later on today, it'll be Wildcard and Sonics. If you're a fan of those teams on the bottom end of things, Jesse, you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
You will, but that's okay because obviously every team will get to play their day. And then, of course, the final day as well, Wednesday, having all semifinals and the grand finals. That will be the most intense day of them all.
100%. But it's time to focus in on our very first matchup of the day. It's going to be Oxygen Esports going up against SSG Academy, our number 1 seed versus our number 8 seed. And very different expectations here, Jesse, when we're looking at these teams headed into this event.
Yeah, obviously this is going to be the number 1 seed, last seed. You expect Auction to come away with the win, but it's not quite that simple. OXG have really been struggling throughout the end of the North American League. They only got that 4th place spot because they did so well in the group stage at the very start of the season to come through and have that high seed to get that bye through playoffs. So they've had some struggles. And while Space Asia Gaming Academy will be the underdog, while they will be coming into this with basically 0 expectations, it's not unthinkable that they could win this game and advance to the semifinals.
Definitely. I think with Space Station Academy specifically, I mean, they had a run in it themselves to even make it here, and they already knocked out some teams. But I mean, it's important that they have found their tenacity to fight through it and even to get here. And it's going to be a tough opponent nonetheless. But if you wanted to make it to Manchester, you got to beat every team going forward.
Yeah, it's no free rides out here. That is 100% certain. We'll talk about the upper seed first. We'll talk about this Oxygen Esports roster, because this is a team too. If you just look at things on paper here, Jesse, I mean, it's interesting because they went through stage 1 as that number 2 spot. They were so close. They just had to win one best of 3 and they fell a little flat.
Yeah, they just had to win a single best of 3 and they couldn't get it done. They've honestly been struggling since about halfway through the regular season. This is a squad that started off looking like the best team in North America. They won back to back to back, and then they just started crumbling. They lost their last 3 group stage games, lost both BO3s when they played inside of playoffs. This team is starting to really slide out of control, and for my money, looking into this game now, this should be where they start to finally get their feet underneath them. And if they don't, obviously, I mean, there's no more second chances.
That's exactly the thing. And when I'm looking at Oxygen too, considering the strength of the players that they have on their roster here, Lax, and what they're able to pull off, I want to see them fix some of these mistakes that have kind of plagued them to the second half of this if we want to see them make this run to Manchester.
Yeah, and even for me, you know, I talked about them going into their most recent games. They're the the third highest rated team in opening conversions, winning those with those opening kills, and then the second highest even when they were the man down. But then we were watching a lot of those games, and the thing that really I noticed most from that is they came out negative in all of those entries once it was all said and done. So going into today's match and the rest of these matches going forward, I would definitely like to see that go in a positive sway of KDR or KD in that rather for opening kills.
Certainly, and I think for Auction, there's a couple players that have been struggling harder than others. I think Yaga has had a really rough time throughout this stage so far. Dream, particularly on defense, also really seems to be struggling. 0.57 and 0.68 KDRs for those 2 players on the defense, 2 of the lowest in the entire league, both bottom 4. So there are certainly areas where we want to see players advance. There's certainly areas where we want to see people step it up, and that's definitely going to be a key focus going into today.
Yeah, and looking at this graph specifically, and you know, we honed in and talked about Oxygen throughout the stage, and even now they started out extremely strong. You're looking at this, they had those 5 wins right off the gate, and you could say, sure, this was against the teams that maybe weren't so experienced or quote unquote not as great, but then you look at the bottom of it, and then they meet the teams that have more experience, that are more renowned teams, and they started to tank off drastically especially when you look at the DZ game. Sure, they did start gradually improving, but then you see that M80 game in the playoffs, they end up losing that, and then again, they meet Dark Zero. So thankfully, Dark Zero isn't in this. They don't have to worry about Dark Zero, but still, nonetheless, we have to see that improvement going forward.
100%. It's an improvement that even if Oxygen is taking this win, takes the next one, makes it to grand finals, like I need to see the improvement throughout, or else I am worried about their chances over on Manchester. And they are going up against the number 8 seed to kick it off. So theoretically, this should be an easier matchup for them. When we're looking at this SSG roster, this SSG Academy roster, excuse me here, Lax. I mean, this is a roster too that they've made some changes as of very recently, as of just a month ago.
Yeah, they picked up Mr. Bay and Fens. Obviously, very great pickups. They're finding that success. I said they made it through an LCQ run, well, not an LCQ run, but a lower bracket quarterfinals run, and now we find themselves here today. And for me, I've talked about this back during the LCQs last year, is sure, this is a T2 team, this is a T3 team, and I give them all the success and regard for making it here. But the most important thing for me going into these matches is, can you do it at a T1 level? Can you make that difference? Can you make those plays when you're actually going against pro rosters and not people that are in the same field as you?
Certainly. I think for Space Station Academy, this is a squad that would like to come through and win the major. Obviously, it's always going to be the goal for every team through the LCQ, but it's going to be a tough road. So far, I will say, while they do have to take down Tier 1 teams, they've already done so. They knocked Los out of the bracket through the lower bracket in the last chance, in the open qualifiers. They also beat Team SBL, who's a very good team in their own right. They did lose that 1 game to Makers. That was in the upper bracket, but Makers themselves have proven to be a pretty solid team. They've managed to successfully make it to these LCQs as well. And then their final loss there that you can see to Los Mangos in the lower bracket, that was once they were already qualified. That was just a seeding game, hence why we're seeing them here.
Yeah, and wanting to dive in a little bit deeper to SSG Academy, but first there's a different point that we need to be bringing up, and actually looking at our North America teams through this stage 1 here, and looking at the entries here, Jesse, because when you start to look at the tail end of this graph, I mean, you start to kind of notice something.
Yeah, so obviously every team wants to win the major, but for Space Station Academy, they might have their own goal of wanting to improve the main roster. Space Station's primary team has been really struggling this stage. They're in the LCQ, they'll be playing later on, but really their biggest problem has been the opening engagements. So it's not going to be that surprising to me if Space Station Gaming might be looking towards some of these Academy players and saying, listen, who can we pick up? Is there anybody who might be strong on the opening kills? And looking back at Element 2 stats, there's one guy who really could pop off and be that entry that maybe could even advance up to the main team. For me, that's got to be Bay. 16-2 on entry throughout all of Element 2. That's unheard of. That's a ridiculous stat line. 8-1 on attack, 8-2 on defense. He was fantastic when he played inside of Element 2. Of course, for Team Envy, for Bay coming through on Aerial Arise, getting top 8, successful tournament for him. So I think Bay and the other players in Space Station Academy, yeah, they'd like to win, but it would also be nice for these players just to come through and prove themselves for the Space Station main roster.
I don't know if we have audio. I don't have either of your guys' audio anymore.
I was worried for a second.
Okay,
I was
it's not
like,
just
was that
me?
only me?
Okay,
I was hoping I
okay.
wasn't just sitting pretty for a second. I was about to just start smiling.
I know, same here. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a me thing and they're going on here. We're gonna get this one fixed, but actually just in the perfect time because, of course, you've heard our thoughts for the most part. I think we're missing a couple from Jesse here, but of course, we want to get the players' thoughts ahead of today's matchup and send to a matchup video with DS and Fence.
I think we played pretty good in playoffs. We had a bunch of mistakes, and we also our map wasn't the best, but really worked on our LCQ. And for us right now, it's just like being hungry. I think we've never been this hungry before. Like we could have got first this stage for like 2 rounds. So I mean, it really comes down to the details and just about the work that we've been putting in. We've been putting probably the most work in all of the teams, and we're gonna show them LCQ.
So in the open qual, we were pretty dominant. We only lost to JJ's team, but JJ gave us fits by his aggressive playstyle and just taking gaps, and we started scrimming a lot of like MXPL teams that tend to do that often, and like that kind of just helped us fix our problem.
Well, I think they're gonna have no fear because they're not supposed to qualify for the major, right? So every game for them is gonna be like SI finals, and they're less predictable than the other public teams. So it's just about staying on our toes and like shutting their stuff down. I was playing ranked against Bay the other day, and he was kind of going nuke, so he might give us some trouble. But I think overall we're gonna come out stronger no matter what. We can't really go in and expect like we're expected to make playoffs. We gotta be like we just gotta be ourselves every game and just be the best of ourselves every game.
I think you really can't have an edge over OXG. It's more or less just shutting down Newers. If we're able to shut down Newers on the entry game, the game might be going our way. I think Newers is like their impact player because he's like their main entry point. Without them, I don't really see them entering the building much. He's kind of like their spearhead. I mean, we don't really got any expectations coming to LCQ. Of course, we want to win it all. But this is like, we have no pressure on us to win this game, and they have all the pressure to lose this game.
Everything on Oxygen and nothing on the end of Space Station Academy when you're looking at expectations. So I'm excited to see how that's going to pan out once we get into the match themselves. And we have a map veto to go to. Jesse, I know you got cut off a little bit before, so I'm going to let you handle this one first.
Thank you, Sierra. And this is kind of a difficult map ban phase coming through for Oxygen because a lot of the maps that they like to play are also maps that Space Station Academy have been playing through the open qualifiers so far. And that's why Oxygen may be choosing to go to a map like Oregon, which can be very default. You often don't want to bring a tier 2 team to this map just because they're going to be comfortable on it. They've definitely played it before. So Oxygen kind of backed off into a corner in my mind, not getting a great kind of sneaky map that they could come through. And then this is what I was worried about. Do Space Station Academy choose Chalet, their permanently chosen map throughout all of the open qualifiers, but also a map Oxygen are good at? Or do they throw a curveball? And Nighthaven Labs is exactly that. OXG have never in team history won Nighthaven Labs. I don't believe Space Station Academy have played it on stream before, so it will be a new showing for them as well. But clearly, this is a confidence pick for me.
Well, I even want to, well, there's your chalet right there, buddy.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about Oregon specifically here is, sure, it is a default map. You aren't going against a T2 team. But the thing is, it's such a default map that you don't need a lot of prep going into it. It's more so of you showing up and playing to your best strengths and being able to fix your mistakes that you may have made through the previous stage. So seeing that Oregon pick is no surprise to me. The Nighthaven, I think, is a smart pick for SSG Academy, given what Jesse just said. Oxygen has lost it every single time. Maybe they'll try to capitalize on situations, but that can also give false confidence going into that map. And then again, you said Chalet. Chalet is going to be the decider. I don't think SSG Academy wants to try to run to Chalet and try to have that be the decider, but I'm not surprised by the Oregon pick overall coming from Oxygen.
Yeah, Oregon, a map that SSG Academy were able to beat both Los and SBL on through the open quals, but of course Oxygen as well, beating Los on that map, winning it a couple times through the regular season too.
Before we head into the match, I have to ask you both real fast, put you on the spot for this prediction for our first map, and make sure to include the map score. We want to keep it spicy. Axe you first.
Okay. I'll say, I gotta say Oxygen, just given the respect and the tier level. So I'm gonna say Oxygen, and I'm gonna say, since they're gonna lose Basement 2 times, since they can't seem to win Basement, I'll probably say 7-3.
Okay. I got some more faith in Space Station Academy. I think they could upset this. I'm still gonna go Auction. I think that's the right call, but I'm gonna say this goes all the way. I'm gonna say 8-6 for Oxygen.
Wow.
Ooh, okay. You're expecting the first one to, you know what? I respect that. Of course, I want to know what our casters are thinking out of the match, and it's time to head into our first map here and toss it over to Flynn and Jonah.
Well, thank you, Sierra. Welcome to NA Siege. It's good to have you. And it's a big day, too. All of your birthdays, am I understanding that right? That's ridiculous, or at least in the next few days. We're making our casting debut today. Flynn, a day of a lot of firsts. And I think, well, for SSG Academy, that's exactly what they are hoping for as well. Can they go through an insane run here in this last chance qualifier bracket and kind of be that first T2 team to qualify for the major? Obviously, they're a long way off. They have Oxygen waiting for them first here on Oregon.
Yeah, this is going to be the toughest run, but like they were saying in the prep video as we jump into operator bans, all the pressure is on Oxygen. They got off to that insane start to the stage and then really cooled off at the worst possible time. So now the pressure is on them in the LCQ. It's 8 teams that go into one spot. They're not all going to fit. And we're going to have to eliminate 7 teams over the next 3 days. SSG Academy looking to be that, like you said, Jonah, the first team. We've been waiting for this since the LCQ format came in. Can a T2 team in North America pull off the ultimate upset and go for the long run, for the Holy Grail, all the way to the major? There is an opportunity. And I do agree with Jesse, honestly, that Oregon is a bold pick, I would say, from Oxygen. It's the map where good teams go to die. It's a comfort pick for sure from Oxygen, but it does have me worried that SSG Academy, starting on the defense, a map that they're going to know very well. It's a curious one. I think they're going to fare a lot better on labs, honestly. This might be going 3 maps.
It's also a map ban phase that kind of screams that Oxygen might be a little bit uncomfortable here, right? Not just the fact that they picked Oregon and they're going to this map because maybe they just don't know any better. They don't know what to expect on the SSG Academy side, but you see Labs as map 2, a map that they are coming off a very fresh loss to M80. That was, what, 7-2 in that first best of 3 in the closed league playoffs here. So that one, not a very good, at least fresh memory for OXG. So this is not going to be any sort of easy walk in the park for them. They are going to have to make sure they're on their best behavior, so to speak, because SSG Academy, they'll be starting things out on the defense here on Oregon. We know how these T2 teams love to thrive in the chaos, and they very well could bring that here on Oregon. It was good to hear from Fens in that pregame interview. If any of you followed T2 and NA and looked at Element 2, which happened not too long ago, Fens was kind of the face, the captain of the Envy roster that ended up winning the whole thing, only dropping like 2 maps on their way to a swift victory. And maybe they're gonna bring that play style here in round number 1. Already, we're gonna see things pop off. Bay gets 2, and Oxygen are able to get 2 kills back with a JetCon run out. Fens goes for it all. Talk about setting the tone in round number 1, Flynn.
Definitely setting the tone early here. Bay as the Mira, being able to, I believe, push out a front door and take the challenge onto everyone, looking up top, looking for JetCon's run out onto the master balcony, and Fens as well going for a peek and falling. I mean, you take a lot of soft breach off the board, but you still have Rotero drones from Dios. You still have your Maverick. You still have can openers from Yaga. The utility that was taken off the board is not the end of the world here for Oxygen, but if that is how every round is going to go from SSG Academy up against Oxygen, that is a draining process to go through. Having to deal with the constant worry and the constant in the back of your mind, check every window, check every door. Someone's going to be flying out of some crevasse on this map somewhere at every possible minute. It gets exhausting, man. It takes you out of your typical rhythm, attacking onto a very bog standard map like Oregon. SSG Academy have the ability to kind of flip the script here and change how they want to play, change the tone of the game, and really put Oxygen on their heels. We see the stage hatch get opened up, and the remaining 3 attackers for Oxygen all positioning themselves for a blue and tower stairs take. This is a good choice, but they are going to have mirror windows looking the opposite direction, actually. No box mirror, no mirror looking at the blue hallway. So a good identification here from Oxygen to flip the push, be able to push in towards blue and elbow.
And good adaptability here, trying to keep this SSG Academy defense on their toes. The defense, though, after that early aggression, they're staying a bit more patient here, sitting back and waiting to see exactly when Oxygen want to make that move. You see the smokes down right now, and Vil doing whatever he can to try to get a good angle through those smokes, see if he can maybe catch Oxygen unaware. The next 30 seconds, though, pivotal for this attack. The fire will come in, and that will start to force these defenders back, allowing Oxygen to take the space. And now they have to find the kills. Vil moving up towards Pillar, the more forward position on this double door. In the meantime, Dream, he's going to find the pixel he needs to get that diffuser down. Bay steps up, Nitro Cell denied, he gets shut down. Good coverage from Diaz. Good shot there from Vil, though. The double kill for him, only one more to find. A post plant now, Focal and Vil. They just got to play this one together, and Diaz is good as dead. Focal, he'll be on the coverage while Vils tries to stick this, and it's no problem for SSG Academy. That is round number 1, Oregon basement defense successful.
Space Station Gaming Academy able to apply some pressure early in the round and then play their number advantage on the bomb site. Like you said, Jonathan, Nitro Cell was denied, but still the pressure onto Dream as he was planting the push down the hallway. Vil was suppressed momentarily by the asphyxiating bolt from Yaga coming down those tower stairs. But at the end of the day, they're still able to collapse onto that plant in the post plant. And like you said, Diaz, he was not long for that world in that 1v2. He did have a 1v1 on the gunfight, but it was perfect coverage from the Space Station Gaming Academy on the retake towards the diffuser. That's 1 round on the board on the defense in quite electrifying fashion, we should say. I am very curious to see if this is going to continue to be the game plan for the Academy team. If you're just trying to get in their face and constantly challenge them on every single opening, throw off their timing, throw off their tempo, again, this could be a very aggravating game for Oxygen, who are just starting the journey that we expect for them to go deep on. We expect a team like Oxygen, with their strong start in the stage, in the group stage, to be able to push for that Manchester spot. Space Station Gaming Academy, they clearly want to play the upset. They want to play the spoiler to the favorites in this matchup. They're going to continue to apply the pressure at every given opportunity. And again, this is Oxygen's map pick. A curious one, given that Oregon does tend to play this way with T2 teams.
I was going to give SSG Academy kind of the benefit of the doubt coming in. I wasn't going to make any broad claims of like, all right, we're going to see them running out of, running off the roof, jumping out of windows, going for crazy plays. But round number 1 clearly told us that we might want to keep an eye out for that going forward. At least that will remain in round number 1. We don't see that kind of same shenanigans to start off the second round here. It doesn't mean we're not seeing SSG Academy play a bit forward, though. You still see someone like Bay on the Valkyrie getting a little active in meeting, maybe contesting anyone from OXG who might want to work their way in from the lobby side. But right now, the entry is over in Big Tower. That's where Yaga is already making use of all 3 of his Selma charges as they get this attic wall opened up and look to take this space across the top floor. When you move over to a site like this top floor control is going to be essential to secure if OXG want to go through this tack relatively uninterrupted. And it seems like going from this opposite side may be their plan, right? You get that master wall open, you get maybe some pressure and trophy, you get some attic pressure going, and those are 3 fantastic pressure points that you can use to your advantage. One of those pressure points is Newers. He's already found the first. Diaz has found the second here. Vil has a response here, but it's a 4v3. OXG on top so far.
Yeah, Vil just trying to play his life here inside a trophy. He's got the attic wall opening up behind him. Newers has made his way into armory to get that opener. You can see Bay downstairs as well, getting droned and then spotted by Gomez as he was solo pushing into the dining side. So Vil playing his deployable shield, playing off his magnets, and trying to hold trophy for the length of the round. He's going to spot Dream outside on the master balcony. He's waiting for the push to come through attic, but no one is approaching as of yet from Oxygen. Dream and Bay, though, they both get on the board. It leaves OXG still in the man advantage. And Vil's going to swing at the top of the armory stairs, but OXG will put him to rest, leaving Bay, who was downstairs on the roam, as the last man standing to ascend the white stairs. Dream will reposition for the plant inside of dorms. right on the rotate. Now on the wide swing, Bay. He cannot even instigate in the 1v3 to get on a roll. It's OXG tying things up.
And if OXG want to win this map, round number 2, that is exactly how every single round should go. There was nothing complicated about that. There were no big mysteries there. OXG built a standard dorms execute from those 3 positions that I mentioned earlier, right? You get the attic wall open and you pressure from that side. You build, we saw Newers work his way into Armory and pressuring over in Master, right? That's the kind of pressure that almost any attacking team on Oregon is going to look to establish. And in that round, in just about every single gunfight they took, it seemed like Oxygen came out on top. Those are the differences that you're going to see kind of permeate this map. OXG, they're the team coming in as the 1 seed. They're the team, the Pro League team here, SSG Academy. They're the T2 team trying to come in and pull off some crazy upset. So while we saw that kind of go for it all crazy energy from SSG Academy in the first round, they played a stock standard second round, and OXG won using that stock standard attacking approach. That right there is an easy formula for OXG to follow. They're going to keep winning rounds, and they're not going to have much trouble closing this one out. Of course, that does come down to, will SSG Academy allow them to do that, allow them to set up an attack so effortlessly in the future? I imagine maybe not so much after learning that lesson.
I am curious. You can see Focal still putting barbed wire down in the Showers hallway. This setup for Space Station Academy is late. JetCon is now reinforcing Attic 20 seconds and beyond into the round. They were playing with Yaga's drone, 2 defenders over by the big window. They were constantly trying to shoot Yaga's drone. It absorbed them for maybe 15 to 20 seconds, and now the setup is late. It nearly cost them a life, but instead, Focal gets on the board. He's promoted himself to the dock. He's taken the swing, and he's removed Gomez from play, so the reinforcement, it still works out on Attic. The Nitro Cell from down below, just playing off the sound. Bay deletes Newers and now peeking towards the front door. Dream trying to get the trade back to at least bring it within 1 on the man disadvantage. But Bay, he's found a home here inside of Meeting. Now it's 2 quick openers for the Space Station Academy on the defense. Much better aggression being displayed here in these rounds. Surely out of desperation because the setup was so late.
But I like what we're seeing from SSG Academy here. They are showing us that they did learn from that second round. They knew what those entry points for OXG were going to be. And both Gomez and Newers approaching from a very similar spot, going down because SSG Academy had a read on that. We're seeing that here from Vil as well. A great shot onto Yaga. The ace now removed for good. It's just Diaz, it's just Dream in this 2v5 situation. SSG Academy, again, it's nothing fancy. They're just maintaining their power positions that they established, maybe not as early as we would have liked to see, but they're just maintaining it. They're taking these gunfights, and at least in this third round, they're winning them. Good bold swing from JetCon. Dream drops down and hits a nuts shot onto Bay in response, but it is a 1v4, so he's really not going to have much in the way of hope here, even with a full minute left on the clock. He's got 2 drones in pocket. He could get some information, but there are 4 very hungry defenders who are no doubt going to be swinging you in just a moment. No doubt a very good adjustment from SSG Academy. They got a good read on what OXG were trying to do, and just like that, they adjusted that top floor defense and made it work to take this third round. At this point, it's just a matter of time. Dream taking a little bit of chip damage here as his position is well known. A little quick peek here and a quick peek there. He's now just about 20 HP left. Not much he's going to be able to do. He has an asphyxiating bolt. He could send that into Attic, maybe find something there, but that will not be the case. It will be 4 up for SSG Academy as they take their second defensive win.
Fist bumps to the camera, and everyone feeling pretty good on the Space Station Academy for the moment. And I must say, whether it was out of desperation because the setup was late, or again, they just executed better on this game plan to instigate a lot of fights early in the rounds, they come away with that early lead, and the desk talked about it. Jesse and Lax, they both said that OXG, for the beginning portion of their hot run, were doing quite well on opening kill in terms of their KD, and that plummeted off the face of the planet. That coincided with their slide. And you can see it here. You've got OXG dropping the opener in 2 out of 3 rounds, and it's led to their loss. Now, it is an Oregon defense, don't get me wrong, but still, it's a tough one when it starts to snowball, and OXG aren't able to trade it out and pull the round back. It just kept going there to the point that Dream was left in the 1v5. Just hit a nice shot on the split on the drop of the master balcony, but other than that, there really wasn't any momentum started. It never really felt like OXG was in that round. And unfortunately for them, this now affords the opportunity for the Space Station Academy to head downstairs, back to the basement, onto the defense, trying to establish a 3-1 lead. And once again, Fens, he's out on the prowl on the Azami. He was here in Small Tower to begin the round in round number 1. And I imagine JetCon is top floor right now, ready to go for some swings outside of Master.
Yeah, last time he ran out and maybe didn't work so well for him, but he provided a good distraction for Fens, who was able to do quite a bit of damage, as you pointed out, Flynn. This time, maybe they're going to be a little more disciplined. 30 seconds into the round, and we're already seeing 3 defenders start to back off towards the site, play a little safer here. The same cannot be said for Vil just yet, maintaining a position in Big Tower for just a little longer before eventually dropping down towards the stairs. And again, a little bit more restrained, playing a little bit safer here as SSG Academy start to continue to shift their defenses around to keep OXG on their toes. It does give OXG a good bit of map control, though. That means that Newers can walk into kitchen and take this space. He's got a drone at his feet. He knows that it's clear, and just about everyone else will be able to move in this map pretty quickly. And that's something that OXG are going to do especially well on their attacking side, and we really aren't sure what we're going to see from this SSG Academy team. Are their attacks going to be as efficient? You imagine maybe not so much. It's one area that, at least on the defense, when we get there, OXG may be able to take advantage of that. But for now, the focus remains on this 4th round as we are just about through the first 90 seconds, and OXG now begin opening up these hatches and looking towards the side.
Reservations met with reservations. You can see OXG taking their sweet time to drone out every corner of the map. Terror drones going down the tower stairs, trying clearing out the barbed wire and the Kiba barricades, stopping them from making any progression or having any sight lines, as Dream will open up the box hatch, and you can see again an orange silhouette slowly making its way up those tower stairs. And it's every single moment of every single round. Even when they do peel back towards the bomb site, Space Station Academy just constantly applying pressure. This must be an infuriating game to play for Oxygen, just never knowing where that next swing is going to come from. Now, Newers is going to spot out the mural window facing in towards Freezer. Flashbangs come flying down the tower stairs as Focal is going to have to back out. With 40 seconds on the clock, he's got 3 toxic fades, and he'll utilize the first one here to slow the progress from Yaga. OXG positioning themselves for a back take through blue once again. Oh, but the timer ticking away and still a lot of utility on site to chew through. This could be problematic for OXG in terms of their timing in a 5v5 execute.
Just waiting for this asphyxiating bolt from Yaga. He knew where the smoke was. Should have been a fairly easy kill. Instead, it's JetCon who gets on the board first. Bay adds another. Gomez gets one back, but now the push for OXG. It's got to come in quick. They've only got 10 seconds left. They're trapped in bunker and getting torn to pieces. Good basement hold there for SSG Academy. OXG, they waited a little too long to get that one going, and when they did, SSG were waiting.
Is JetCon in a library? I just spotted that on his face cam. He's got some spectators and multiple PCs behind him, but at the very least, he's doing well. The rest of Space Station Academy right now are doing very well. This is again a stall out for Oxygen. You know, we're hitting 25 seconds and we're in a 5v5 trying to push onto the bomb site. Newers is trying to take a 1 against a Mira on the Freezer side. The rest of the push in through blue gets decimated on the crossfire. The asphyxiating bolts, unfortunately, as well for Yaga there. There were 2 down at the base of the tower stairs, and yet there's still a defender able to play the pillar position. And that's just nightmare fuel for Oxygen. They're going to watch back the VOD, and they're going to think, wow, we really missed an asphyxiating bolt by a couple of inches, and that may have cost us in terms of being able to flood our execute beyond blue. And it's an unfortunate one there for Oxygen in terms of their pacing, in terms of being wary of where Space Station are going to be flying out of next. All credit to the Academy. They do play it a little more close to the chest on that round towards the bomb site. Now with 2 back-to-back defensive successful rounds, they're able to go to a tertiary bomb site. This time it will be meeting and kitchen to try and wrap up a clean sweep, put them up 4-1 with 1 round remaining in the first half. For Oxygen's attacks here, again, the focus needs to be opening pick, and the focus needs to be on tempo.
Early on here, Fens looking to set that defensive tempo. Boss G ACOG looking to go absolutely nuts. He's going to go for the wide swing out the main double door. Let's see what he finds. Nothing yet. Oh, and he did not look the other way. Diaz, he was ready for that. He had a drone, maybe heard that sound cue of the Vigil kind of popping up and going for that swing. So an easy kill for him to secure. And yeah, Fens, ambitious. I respect the play, but ambitious. Always love to see the boss GM play, though. Good trade there from Villas. He whips around, goes for the fight vertically with Yaga, and ends up winning that somehow. So at the very least, you lose your Vigil, but you do go 1 for 1. Vil, however, yeah, he's not going to survive that. He's got a flash in his face in a one-way corridor with no way out. Another quick retaliating blow for OXG as they begin to work their way through this map, setting up some air jabs to maybe prevent plays like that from happening again.
Setting up the net and utilizing a lot of these flashbangs. You can see Oxygen, they're flashing a lot of corners. Trying to make sure they're not being caught off guard by areas they haven't been able to drone for whatever reason, whether it be the mute jammers or just not enough time or resources to do so. JetCon upstairs. He's going to have to contend with Gomez on the white stairs in a moment here. And I think JetCon has the call that Gomez is holding him from the top of the stairwell. Here's the rappel out towards the big window as well. So Dream and Gomez trying to collapse upstairs, but JetCon will win out onto Dream. Gomez still holding from the stairs. That's the diffuser. Lost the big window as well. Someone from Oxygen is going to have to rotate out and try and reacquire that. In the midst of the smoke, Gomez will descend the white stairs, take aim against Focal inside of security. He walks down the stairwell, shotgun in hand, but he loses. He loses to the SMG-12 with the shotty, and now it's a man advantage established once again for Oxygen.
Back and forth in this round so constantly, but OXG just maintain the advantage slimly here by 1. They do have to keep an eye on the time. That got them in trouble last time around. All they got to do is pin down both Bay and JetCon. As I say that, JetCon, he'll fall victim to Gomez, just taking that 1v1, and Bay, he isn't on the site. He's going for a bit of a flank, working his way down Z Hall. Takes care of Diaz, but that clues both Gomez and Newers into the fact that he is not on the site. They're going to go in, get this diffuser down as a result. Gomez is 1 HP. He's the player covering, so a moment of vulnerability as he is finished off through the wall. But now it is a 1v1 in the post plant. Bay's got to be the one to step up. Only 1 kill to find, though, and he still has 3 Kibas in pocket. A lot of utility to potentially make this a nightmare for Newers. He'll put down a couple, send a final one on that doorway, and he'll get on this diffuser. Newers, his position is known, but he'll melee open the Kiba. Bay pops up, the spray back and forth, but Bay, he retreats to go for the defuse again. Now he vaults through the wall, and Newers is ready. A good use of those Kibas, a valiant attempt there from SSG Academy, but it is OXG who take the round.
Man, Bay on the Azami in the 1v3 walks at a meeting, gets the first in Zulu, and has a 1v2 against a 1 HP Dokkaebi Gomez. He's able to get that through the wall, but unfortunately, he cannot win the 1v1 Newers. Playing that well, wasting a lot of the clock, able to play around the Kiba barricades well, and just make it so that Bay has no opportunity to actually go for the stick, opening up an angle and making Bay take the 1v1 gunfight at the end. Newers salvaging around there. That looked well in hand for Oxygen with about 20 seconds left, and then it started to spiral. So a good catch there for Newers. And for Oxygen now getting 2 attacks, now having to attack towards the top floor, which you were unsuccessful in doing so the first time. I think right now for Oxygen, focus is trying to at least have the tie heading into the half, into the side swap for the Space Station Gaming Academy. Hopefully a quicker setup than the last time around, not being caught out by a drone. And this time around for the Space Station Gaming Academy, pretty much identical rosters coming out. Changing who is on which operator though. JetCon's gonna get off the Wamai and onto the Frost. So a little bit of a cycle here from the Academy team. Try and secure their 4th round on the defense to head into the side swap in a good position. OXG on their map pick, losing for the time being, but this is still in a pretty salvageable spot.
Wouldn't be surprised here, you know, OXG come away with this last round. They go into that half at the 3-3 spot. I think that sets them up really well. Because yes, while we are seeing maybe some issues in SSG Academy are getting some round wins here, Oregon attack against Oxygen is a different ball game. So SSG Academy would really like to win this round and get that 4-2 split, give themselves a little bit more cushion. Newers will, of course, make that a little less likely as he is the one who gets the opening kill, shutting down Bay. Jesse mentioned how much of a beast Bay can be on the entry, at least he was during Element 2, and I think we have seen that here in this map as well. He's 7-5, but he will not be able to make a contribution here in round 6. It will fall onto the rest of the team. Vil, who's got 7 kills as well to his name, only 2 deaths. He's looking very good, playing that Wamai, playing that flexi support role. So it's been good to see him thriving in that position, but he's gonna have to do more, as well as the rest of this team, to make up this man disadvantage that they now find themselves in.
That was all really the roaming pressure that Space Station Academy were willing to put out there. It was just Bay on the Valkyrie down below. Good win there from Newers. Yaga taking some damage off screen as Gomez is down below. Trying to make life a living hell for any of the anchors on the bomb site. Yaga picks up Vil though. Focal having to dock himself, playing in the big window power position. Gonna have some trouble from the bottom of the white stairs. But Jetcon though is able to pick up one onto Newers. The ascension of the white stairs from Focal, who used his second stim pistol shot on himself now. Truly the purest form of the promotion to dock. Now OXG still in a good spot with the Finca in terms of their own health in a 3v2 man advantage. Focal returning to the bomb site from that white stairs position, now peeking out of Trophy towards Attic. Not sure he is aware of the approach, I believe, from Yaga out towards the satellite window from Attic. Now, Focal seemingly aware and turns attention back towards the bomb site. It's a 2v3 for Focal and Fens to work out of. You can see OXG circling a little bit. Dream's got the diffuser towards the big window, but even he is rotating. Yaga, who started out towards Tower, is now rotating towards the armory stairs. That's going to leave Diaz alone at the bottom of white. Yaga looking to push up, potentially catch the dock of Focal, overreaching slightly. They've still got the trophy breach open, but keep it barricaded off. This could be problematic as now one walking up white stairs gets shut down. There goes the Finca, and now it's just Dream and Yaga who had the man advantage, but the time is running out on the swing from Focal. He collects one. Fens has his crossfire, and the Space Station Gaming Academy, they will pick up a well-deserved 4 rounds on the defense.
And a huge 4-2 half, as we said, moving into their attack. Up by 2, it gives them a little cushion to play with here. Really makes this map a winnable map. At 3-3, if we went into the half even, I would say that OXG, they kind of hold all the cards. They've got the advantage. There's no doubt about that. But this one is anyone's game still. And SSG Academy doing their part on the defensive side. This was OXG's pick, so they got to start on the favorable defensive half, but doing their part to set the tone early and come out and take that lead. Really good stuff there from Fens in that last round too. A bold swing that he took on those white stairs, but a swing that was able to, one, neutralize the attack that was coming from the other side, took out that second prong of the attack that OXG were trying to run with, made it so that it was a one-dimensional attack in that 2v2, and of course, returned it to that even 2v2 to make it a better fighting chance for Focal and Fens in those final gunfights. So great way to close out that last round, especially bouncing back from that entry death and losing Bay so quickly. But now they have to attack. And OXG, they get to defend. They get to just lock down this map, and we have to finally see if SSG Academy can truly piece this together on both halves of this map as well.
Space Station composition on the attacking side, not too dissimilar to what we saw from Oxygen. Seeing more Goyo coming out on the defense for Oxygen than we saw from the Space Station Academy. I think right now for Oxygen, again, this is the bomb site where you want to stabilize. I mean, the Des touched on not being able to win this bomb site on the defense on Oregon for Oxygen. And that's not the typical situation. This is probably one of the most defender-sided bomb sites in the competitive pool. And yet, for whatever reason, Oxygen have had their struggles. So now for Space Station, not running into pretty much any resistance throughout the entirety of the top 2 floors. We're able to progress towards getting towards the bomb site very quickly. You got 4 can openers. Fens utilize the first one onto the laundry hatch. Got no opposition to that either. No Kaids coming out. Thatcher has not been banned away. Don't want to be wasting the claw and wasting the operator pick on something that's not going to last very long, not going to stall out the attack for much longer. Now for Space Station Academy, this is all about working your top-down angles and deciding which side looks more vulnerable. No Mira coming out on the defense. That's the trade-off here for the Goyo, so you got some time stall. But we saw those mirror windows be a strong deterrent to going for front pushes, at least from the OXG attack. And now for the Space Station Academy attack, that's a tough one. Losing Vil on the tower stairs, a nice peek there from the hallway to establish the opening kill for Oxygen. And look at all the blue silhouettes start to swarm the tower stairs.
Right, this first half of the round for OXG really was about figuring out, all right, which side are SSG going to attack from? And just like that, on the flip side of the coin, SSG Academy, they were still trying to figure out which side of that defense was a bit more vulnerable. As Vil overexposed himself, he goes down here. You lose the first man, and now you do really have to make that decision quick. You no longer have that luxury of all 5 up, that utility that allows you to split some pressure and make that decision last minute. We're going to have to see SSG Academy commit to this, and it does look like right now, this pillar side is looking most attractive to them.
Jetcon waiting at the toxic gas to facilitate a drop into the box. Gonna have a tough time. His teammates have done a decent job of repelling any entries back towards Pillar, but Gomez is still persisted in the barrel's position. Right outside of blue, the nitro cell comes as the double drop occurs, but no, it's an instant trade. They taken off the board in favor of Yaga, but there goes Newers for 2 in the hallway. Jetcon has made his way into the bomb site, but Dream picks up 2 from elbow as well. And Oxygen, they are able to quell their qualms with this bomb site and pick it up and bring us back within 1 round on the score sheet.
Yeah, we joke about this map and about OXG on basement specifically. They've had some strange difficulty historically of winning that basement site, both on the attack and the defense. We were talking about this in the first few weeks of the stage, but they did eventually remedy that. We did see that throughout some of those best of ones. And of course here, winning that basement site as well. So starting off their defensive half strong there, that's not too much of a surprise. It was simply just a slow endurance battle there for OXG as they waited to see where SSG were going to approach from. Once it was clear there would be an E-box drop and a pillar take, that's pretty much where all the defenders looked towards and had no trouble shutting it down. Again, we're seeing kind of your usual contributors on this OXG team, and it's good to see Newers, you know, back at the top doing what he does well. He's 8-5 right now, and he showed us on the Ash, on the entry, on the attack that he was, you know, not perfect by any means, but he was doing good work, and he continued it there in that last round, along with just about everyone else. So basement successful, that's 1 box you can check, and now 1 round away from tying this up and already equalizing the score. We go up to dorms next to see what they can do.
Topside defense for Oxygen and very similar tower focus off the jump for Space Station Academy. You've got Yellow Pings coming out as, again, late reinforcements onto those attic walls, but that's just Yaga reinforcing over the rotate, so there's a soft wall beside him, but Yaga not in a position to get hit through the wall from Jetcon. He is in a position, though, to stop any tower pushes. He's going to start by picking through some drones that are making their way in through the other side of the soft wall. You see the clash coming out via Rooney. There's a lot of different utility here, positioned from the defensive Oxygen to waste a lot of time, but also absorb a lot of the utility that Space Station Academy will prefer to use for the execute. You're going to have to use flashbangs or bolts or really anything like drones to try and throw into the Surrey gates to facilitate the openings towards the bomb site. You get the clash as well. It's going to be a huge utility dump. Got Fens now, beginning things off with stuns towards Dream's Clash inside of Trophy, in tandem with the Selma going off. But Jetcon with no visibility from outside onto the balcony in towards Trophy. That's 1 stun utilized for now. He's got 1 impact and 1 stun remaining in the lifeline from Fens. Try and deal with Dream, who's back all the way off into Attic.
Dream, the pressure here on the Clash. It'll be very important that he stays alive as SSG Academy start to establish this crossfire, try to choke him out, force him out. Right now, he's still alive, though, as you said. And this will be a pivotal moment for SSG. Can they apply pressure to take care of him? If not, they're going to have a lot of trouble in the late round when it comes to the timing. They've taken care of Newers here, and that's going to help a lot. A very good kill from Vil, but still, you've got to work this pressure in from both sides. It's Bay from Attic, and it's Vil, Fens, and Focal from the other side. They had no idea. Yaga was on the flank, though. He was able to pick up 1 before getting quickly traded, but Gomez, he pops out, gets a bit aggressive and go swing. Looking to SSG Academy swing the breach. Oh, but look who it is. Gomez swings right back. A 2v2 as this one descends into chaos. Dream still alive. The Clash we mentioned at the beginning of the round. Low HP, but still with a shield to protect him. In this 2v2, OXG only really have 1 gun up at this point, so Dream may pivot to using that SMG instead of the shield. It will come down to the wire here, though, because as they move in, Jetcon is able to get the kill onto Diaz, and he goes in for the knife. What a way to end it. SSG Academy feeling good.
Good response there for the Space Station Academy to be able to contend with the clash and kind of just push Dream to the side for the early execute. It was unfortunate that they missed that flank coming out from Yaga, because that's really what started the fireworks there. They had 5 up. Nobody's actively on a flank drone at that point through lobby. And you can see that blue silhouette just slowly creeping his way through lobby all the way up the armory stairs. It was a good catch, though, and a good trade for the Space Station Gaming Academy to respond to that. Get another round on the board, and Diaz losing health in prep. Interesting. Okay, well, for the Space Station Academy, though, that was a very good execute onto the bomb site in the 2v2. They isolate. They know that Dream has pushed deep into dorms, and he's backed off. Like you said, Jonah, he did pull out the SMG 9. He wasn't in a position to hold the cross, so both attackers flood through the middle of the... Okay. I don't know what's going on here, but we are taking aim at each other in the prep phase, and I imagine that is going to lead to a rehost with a technical pause. So Space Station Academy up 5-3. Like I said on that attack, a good execute. Bit of shenanigans there in the beginning of that round, but it'll be OXG trying to respond now in turn and not let this thing go to match point.
Yeah, as you definitely got a little bit chaotic there towards the end of that last round, but a round that SSG Academy are more than happy to secure, because while we were just about at an even scoreline 4-4 going into the back half of this map, it's 5-3, 1 round away for SSG to potentially have their, I don't know, foot on the throats of OXG, so to speak. They have a chance to take OXG's map pick, the underdog coming in, starting out a best-of-3 hot. That'd be a great place to begin. Of course, Labs is that second map, which we will see. You know, this is a best-of-3. And OXG have not had the most success there, so SSG Academy picking into that and hoping that that can be their territory, that is still a big unknown, because we also have no idea what this SSG Academy roster is capable of on that map. So a lot of questions to answer there, while our focus remains here on Oregon. At the end of the day, it is a best-of-3. You do not have to win the first map as long as you have it in you to make that something happen on that second map. And yeah, potentially going to Chalet, which would be that third map today in this first series. If we get to that point, who's to say? OXG, I mean, the comeback is very possible, certainly almost probable at this point. They are on the defensive side. You do expect these rounds to start to flow. But right now, 2-round cushion looks pretty good for SSG Academy, I will say.
Yeah, if you're the Space Station Gaming Academy right now, you're feeling in a very good spot being able to execute on one of the 2 primary bomb sites, we should call it, on Oregon. I think right now we're going to need a little bit more time to get everybody back into the lobby. So ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
All right, this time we are not trolling you, and we're proving that by not even popping back on camera. We're going straight into the game, back into round number 9. Hopefully no more issues here for the remainder of Oregon, as we did have a brief intermission there in between what honestly felt like a pivotal moment, a potential turning point in this map. Flynn, well, that momentum is potentially been stalled out, because SSG Academy, they win an attack after it looks like OXG, they have a little bit of the control. They're starting to find their groove on defense. Yet SSG Academy take the win. They maintain this 2-round lead, getting closer and closer to that 7-round mark.
It's worrisome for OXG. Like you say, though, the opportunity with a technical rehost is to just kind of chill out. You know, there's a lot of pressure on Oxygen, and we even saw it from Fens in the pregame video. Dude, there's no pressure on this SSG Academy team because there are no expectations on this SSG Academy team. There's so many expectations, and there's a lot of pressure on this OXG roster to do well. This is a team that last year, unfortunately, also underperformed, missing both majors. And that was honestly a change of form for them. We're used to seeing this Oxygen team put together very strong stages and compete for North America at big events, and that just was not the case. So I think right now for Oxygen, the focus is turning things around, a little bit of a mental reset. You get to come into a kitchen dining or a kitchen and meeting defense, sorry, try and slow SSG down, try and slow down this Academy attack that is very youthful, very energetic, and very explosive, that has caused them some problems so far.
Well, one of these players we mentioned that is a little explosive in their own right. That's Bay. He's on the buck in this case. Looking to kind of make the first move here on the top floor. Trying to pin down these two roamers up top. Instead, though, it is Yaga who draws first blood. The Smoke who gets the kill first. Quick follow-up there from Newers. Diaz gets one as well. OXG, this looks like the team we know. That's 2 for Newers on the round, and just like that, Focal, the last one standing, he is quickly taken care of. It is flawless for OXG coming back from the break.
Hey, you want to talk about being able to kill the momentum? Nothing will stop SSGA in their tracks like a flawless round against them. That's also on a tertiary bomb site. So we've talked about some maybe documented issues with Oxygen downstairs on this map. They unfortunately win that, but trade it for a loss upstairs in dorms. Now they come away with a victory on meeting in kitchen. So maybe there's some balance here. Maybe there still exists the opportunity for Oxygen to turn things around, maybe with meeting in kitchen as a secondary bomb site should it need to be, considering their troubles upstairs. And really their outright denial of a top floor entry on the clear there up against SSG Academy. One by one, attackers fed in, and one by one, they all met headshots at the hands of SMGs and the hands of Oxygen members. Now for OXG, turning their sights back downstairs, not wanting to run back dorms as of yet. Go back to the bomb site that you did come away victorious on here. Round number 10, the opportunity to tie things up as well for Oxygen. This is a pivotal one. It's either match point or a tied ball game. The only problem with Oxygen winning this back-to-back is you're going to be forced to go back upstairs, lest you want to go to a kitchen and dining defense to try and keep yourself off of match point once again.
Well, Flynn, you mentioned the explosiveness, that this attacking team is playing a little loose here. And they're showing us that in round number 10, at least with this attacking lineup. Focal bringing out the blitz. You've got Vil on the Finca, Fens on the Capital. This has the potential to be quite an explosive round for SSG Academy. Maybe want to get that rhythm back. Tell Oxygen that they are not out of this fight. In fact, they are very much in this fight. Doing it on basement, you expect that blitz to come through bunker, to try to push into elbow and use that flash shield to take that control there. For now, he's just droning. Vocal's just going to be sitting back and providing some support until that eventual moment where we see SSG Academy spring into action. They'll make their entry exclusively from this tower side, not putting any pressure over in small tower or main lobby or from the other side of the map. While that maybe limits some of the control they can take quickly, they've already gotten into meeting and they already have this E-box hatch open. They have made good early progress, even if they didn't enter from the top floor or from the other side. Focal creeping in now, though. This is curious. Not going for the bunker play. Maybe an E-box drop?
Yeah, one of the bigger problems here is SSG Academy were the team to ban away the Ying, one of the most honestly devastating execute operators we've seen in a long time. There comes the drop from Focal down the box hatch. A nitro cell from Gomez from inside of the bottom of the stairwell. A team kill from the asphyxiating bolt as well, as JetCon will push his way through the fire and the flames in the middle of the bomb site. He loses the diffuser. It's another team kill. SSG Academy falling apart at the seams on the basement execute. The diffuser is stranded in the middle of the bomb site. Newers goes for the wide swing through supply, and Oxygen, off the backs of a technical timeout, they come away with 2 very strong defensive victories.
Okay, that didn't take long. They're right back in it. It's 5-5, and it feels like OXG have this now. Quickly, and you see the nerves there coming out from SSG Academy, right? They no longer have that comfortable 2-round lead. We did see this coming. They are on the attacking side. We knew it would be difficult to keep up that consistent pace, but great turnaround there from OXG to take 2 in a row and tie us up. I mean, you gotta respect the attempt there from SSG Academy to go a bit more aggressive, to bring out the blitz, to go a bit crazy. But they were acting like a team in those final, honestly, with about 90 seconds left, they were acting like a team who had 10 seconds left on the clock. They were a little flustered, they were a little panicky, and they still had a full minute to work with. They forced it. They really tried to move in quick, and while sometimes that can give you a lot of success and you can maybe catch the defense off guard, OXG, they were very prepared for that. They had the Warden in position to worry about the blitz. They had the C4s cooked and ready to go. They had everyone in the right place at the right time to deny a take like that. What, 4 bodies still up for SSG Academy when everything was all said and done, or rather for OXG when everything was all said and done? A fantastic way to bounce back. Like you said, Flynn, after the rehost, the 2 rehosts, they've definitely used that moment to breathe, to find themselves again, and yeah, we are all square.
Gomez going for a cheeky little peek out the front door, and also spotting that part of the setup hadn't been done. We're looking for head holes on that trophy wall from Attic, and there are no such holes at the moment. So maybe Dream preoccupied with something else in the setup for the time being. You can see Vil has made a very swift entry. Yaga from downtown! The Nitro sellout, the master balcony will put Fens on his backside in round number 11 to start things off. There's been much said about Yaga and his performance, but since the rehost, doing quite well for himself. Vil, though, with that immediate entry in through the west side, will respond on to Dream, the support player.
Look at Yaga, he's doing it all. We saw the C4 kill, and now using the primary utility, the Zoto canisters on the Tubarão to delay the breach from the Attic side. Delaying quite a bit of time so far. It will, of course, not delay this attack inevitably, nor will it destroy that utility, merely denying those Selmas, denying those breaching charges their ability to detonate for, you know, a few seconds per canister. Eventually, though, and as you see that now, those secondary hard breach charges will detonate, and this approach for SSG Academy now opened up. Maybe 30 seconds later than they had hoped, but they still have this angle to push from regardless. The fact that they've neutralized this into the 4v4 makes this one pretty even as they go into this final minute, or as we approach it. But we will have to see what SSG Academy do from the other side, because Vil on the buck down below, his job with that skeleton key is going to be to get these defenders to move around. You see those blue outlines, you see Gomez and Diaz, they've got to keep moving. They've got to stay mobile because someone down below can take care of them. Yaga doing that. We'll get another one here. Hot so far in this round. A quick trade from Vil. OXG, they get another one though, and they're up by 1 yet again.
Yaga on a heater on this round, and here comes the peek to the Attic window. Focal outside a big window, but that peek from Attic is going to force Bay to move off of his... It hasn't come yet. Never mind. Saw a blue silhouette sprinting to the window, but Bay perseveres out on the dorm's rappel, and now Focal will take up Vil's position on the white stairs, where he went 1 for 1 and ultimately perished. Now carrying the diffuser, it's his job to try and be the springboard to push into the bomb site with some explosive power, but it's not coming. He's waiting for someone to swing, and OXG refusing to give him the opportunity to push in. Now from Focal will collect 1, but Yaga and Diaz, they clean up on the bomb site, make it 3 in a row for Oxygen, and now they have pushed themselves into the lead.
Oh, and to cap it off, we get a little dream clap for us to bring us into map point as OXG continue their defensive run here, and SSG Academy, yeah, they've just lost it just a bit. An odd pattern that's emerged here over the course of this entire map is the lack of trades we've seen after these opening kills. And if OXG continue to get those kills on the defense and we're not seeing an immediate trade from SSG Academy, no matter how you go about it, SSG Academy, they find themselves in a hole to start every single round. You're literally making every single attack a little bit harder than it already is by losing that first player. And of course, they're not trying to send somebody in on an island and have them die. How were they supposed to know a C4 was going to come flying out the master doorway and absolutely obliterate them? I mean, it's not the kind of thing you can expect, but it is the kind of thing you have to figure out how to counter. You have to remedy that as soon as possible. Of course, they take the tack time out here, maybe talk things over and try to work out the kinks, go back into this one and get this round to send it to OT, but you look at this OXG team right now, and this is looking much more refined. This is kind of the defensive team that we expected to see from the start.
Definitely. It was a tough first beginnings to the game, but Oregon, well, defensive sided, even these days. Now Oxygen on the backs of 3 in a row. They're going to have to go to that tertiary bomb site again, though, to complete the rotation and walk us home on map number 1 in regulation, lest we go to overtime. And for Oxygen there as well, I'm not sure that Yaga was aware of who he was launching that Nitro Cell at, but taking that Zofia out of the rotation for SSG Academy on the attacking side, you lose that range explosive soft breach. And with the Kiba barricades just creating a fortress around the bomb site, even with some hard breaching getting done from SSGA, there wasn't a whole lot of avenues opened up to the bomb site itself, not a whole lot of angles opened up with those Kiba barricades cutting off lines of sight and visibility into the site itself. Other defenders, other than when Vil went down below the skeleton key momentarily, felt like they were in danger on the bomb site. Losing that range soft destruction, that really threw a kink into the plans for SSG. Now on the attack to keep themselves alive here on map number 1. Should again be noted, this is Oxygen's map pick, Space Station Gaming Academy selecting to go to Nighthaven Labs for map number 2. But you would expect OXG to win their map pick. A little bit of a struggle in the beginning, and JetCon, as the opener on the ace, says maybe we're not done on Oregon just yet.
Yeah, I guess ask and he shall deliver. JetCon gets the opening kill. We were asking SSG Academy to tighten up their early round. They've done that. They got the first one, and Diaz, I mean, he's obviously put his camera down already, but he'll be relegated to camera duty for the rest of this one, as will Newers, as he also goes down here. A good, swift start for SSG Academy as they, on this 12th round, are really looking to push things to overtime. We get to see round 13, at least round 14 in this one. If it gets to that point, OXG down 2 here, and still opting to try to hold this top floor as best they can. They're keeping Yaga up here a bit longer. Risky. As this SSG Academy team, look at this. They have snuck into the site. Fend, he comes out of nowhere. He does get taken down by Dream, however. But he did take a lot more space than OXG were expecting. You got to watch out, though. Yaga, he's retreated. He's made his way back to the site. He found an angle from the other side onto Vil. SSG Academy, you can see they're getting a bit rambunctious here, but they're still up by 1 man.
They're swarming around the bomb site now as they've left 2 SMG-11 SAS defenders in a 2v3 against some very high-powered assault rifles with some extended optics on them as an option as well. And Dream now hearing the Selmas. They got yellow pings inside of Dining. Good pre-fire there from Dream to lock up the headshot and equalize on the man count. Now Bay carrying the diffuser, making that entry into small tower. He's looking for those cameras because his teammate will have known with that pre-fire from Dream, there was definitely a Valkyrie camera in the vicinity. They will spot it, they will destroy it. And now Focal will descend the white stairs to try and team up with Bay to push in through the Dining side into Kitchen. Yaga still with 1 toxic Babe left in the back pocket. A nice headshot as well onto Focal. Leaves Bay alone in the 1v2. Trying to push his way into the objective as well. And Dream's gone for the rotation down to the freezer stairs. Bay initiating the plant underneath the kid's hatch. And Dream through the wall will ice it. Oxygen, it looked perilous for a moment, but they do secure their map pick of Oregon. They go up 1-0 in this best of 3.
May have taken them a moment, but they found their stride, and a very impressive 12th round, the final round of regulation for OXG to close it out. Great way to end. You have 2 kills for SSG Academy right off the bat. They start things off strong. It looks like they're finally going to get in the building quick and make the move early on the attack. And then Yaga and Dream putting on a, 2v4 clinic and making it look easy. Yaga, I don't think he died since the rehost. I think he was 6-0 coming out of the pause. Dream also, I think, ended up racking up 5 kills by the end of it. Exceptional play from those 2 supports there to really put the team on their back, at least in that final round, and make it happen to send OXG at least away from their own map pick with a map 1 win.
Well, there it is. It's OXG down at the half, but they pull it back on their defensive side. And with that, we're going to go to a short break in between maps 1 and 2 in this best of 3 between Oxygen and the Space Station Gaming Academy.
All right, well, with a 7-5 scoreline, it's going to be Oxygen to take the first map here of this best of 3. And I mean, honestly, to start things off, Lax, Oxygen wasn't inspiring a lot of confidence, but we got to see them pick it up, and I'm glad for them, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking a little shaky. I was kind of questioning, like, okay, well, I was wrong. Obviously, they did end up closing it out 7-5, so my prediction wasn't super far off, but in terms of saying that they wouldn't win basement, they actually did win basement pretty convincingly. But I still want to give credit to the SSG Academy. I mean, they talked about in the interview how they wanted to play the game, how the style that they were going to play, and genuinely, I was impressed because in a lot of those situations when they were up a man advantage, they completely played still. They waited for Oxygen to come in, make the mistakes, be able to capitalize off the plays, or just even work together cohesively to shut out a round.
Yeah, I really was happy that we got to see Oxygen bounce back in that game. It felt like a couple of the players that have been struggling on Oxygen throughout the season so far really were able to step it up, particularly Yaga and Dream. I mean, it's no secret that, especially on defense, those two players have been dying a lot, really failing to find impact, sometimes just bleeding their lives away in moments when they didn't really need to. And it felt like, especially after the rehost, they were playing on top of their game. They had full confidence to go for the right moves. They were swinging stuff. They were making their shots count. They really did play well, both as individuals and as teammates. So I was really happy to see Yaga and Dream in particular step up after that rehost. You can see their stat lines now post rehost, something like 6-0 for Yaga. Ridiculous from those two players to step it up when they really needed it.
Which is great to see coming out from Oxygen going on forward. This is only after map 1, so I'm getting ahead of myself here too. But when I'm looking at Oxygen, I mean, especially with a couple of the issues that have plagued them, I want to see that confidence. I want to see them have that energy, and I want to see the step up here, Lags.
Yeah, I mean, again, at the beginning of this game, it did not look like it was going in OXG's favors by any means. Academy was looking extremely strong, doubling up on how they wanted to play. But again, I even talked about in the beginning of this is the opening kills being converted into opening rounds 1, whatever that looked like. We did see at the end of that, they were leading with the 7 opening kills versus the 5 opening deaths that they originally received from SSG Academy. So it is good because I said I wanted to see that in the positives. And I think because we saw that in the positives, that is the huge reason why we did see a 7-5 victory here.
And there was one round that we wanted to go back to, round 4, for Jesse to break down for us in your usual fashion.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight this one. This is where we saw the Capital bolt from Yaga just barely miss Focal, who's playing that back pillar area on the smoke. And he's really important in this aspect. I kind of want to highlight just how important it is to hit some of these smokes or hit some of these firebolts correctly. So initially Yaga was playing tower stairs. He missed his firebolts. He left a gap for Focal to stand there in the back of the armory. And then he's going to go drop E-Box. And you'll see as we play this clip what happens. While Focal is not able to get the kill, Yaga is forced to stare at Focal because he knows he's still there. He knows he's still playing that position, and that draws his attention away, which allows the Azami to get the kill and shoot him in the back. It's that little tiny mistake that sometimes can cost you the round, and this was one of those moments where I thought Focal, by playing aggressive, by staying in such an unorthodox spot, even late into the push, which is something that we saw SSG Academy do a lot through their defensive half, were able to really disrupt the push that Oxygen wanted to go for. Ultimately, you know, they did win their defensive half. It was a really strong showing on the basement coming through from SSG Academy. They did crumble in that second half, but I thought that was a really important moment that kind of showcased how that first round was really going.
Yeah, and when we're looking at this then, like the precedence of these two teams going on forward, Lax, I feel like we've gotten to see highlights coming out from both teams. From SSG, if they're to take their map pick though, like I need to see always that confidence from them.
Yeah, and everyone's firing on all cylinders from the looks of it on both sides of the team. My biggest worry was when Fen says that they know what they wanted to do when going into this game and that they wanted to shut down Newers. And you look on the other side of Oxygen and Newers is quite leading the entire lobby at sitting at that 12-8, leading in those entries. So to me, when I hear teams like, oh, I want to counter out their one player, I want to counter out this guy, it just, for me, in my experience and also watching it, it doesn't really work because all 5 of those players on that roster have their own respective categories and why they're in the pro scene and why they're in a top team and why some of them are top players. So you can't just exclude the other 4 and be like, oh, we knock out Newers, we win, because you couldn't even knock out Newers and all of the other rest of them were fragging. And like Jesse even said, having Yaga and Dream both step up significantly sets Oxygen up for even more success than what we've seen.
Especially when I look back at Oxygen's stage and it's more so a team thing as opposed to just kind of individual stuff. But now we need to talk about the next map here going on our series and talk about this Nighthaven Labs. This, I mean, Jesse, you're breaking it down before. Oxygen, this is not great for them.
Yeah, so OXG have never in organization history won Nighthaven Labs. They lost to Dark Zero last season. They lost to M80 this season. It is not a common map for them. It's one that can be a little bit cursed, but I also think, you know, you're coming into a match against an opponent that you've just taken a map off of, a tier 2 team who maybe aren't playing at the highest level compared to the other teams that you've lost this map to in the past. This should be their best shot, right? This should be where Oxygen have the opportunity to thrive. From what we saw in the open qualifier playoffs, Space Station Academy have never played this map for themselves. It is obviously a big map. There's a lot of different things you can do on it. There's a lot of tricks that you can kind of run and catch people off guard. So that is something Oxygen are going to have to watch out for. There's probably going to be some stuff coming through from SSG Academy that they're not expecting just because it is SSG Academy's pick. But the fact that Oxygen started on defense, the fact that they've maybe had a little bit more time to work on this map and to get it back into their pool, I'm hoping that means that we can see a good game from them here finally today.
Well, now I really have to ask the important question here, because predictions, they were close, but a little off of the last time. And with how this map can go, I got to hear the map score this time around. Lax, you first.
I'm gonna say Oxygen, and I think I'm still gonna stick with that 7-3 just for the sole purpose because they did start on attack the last game. That does ultimately warm you up. It gets comms flowing, gets everything going. Then you switch that defensive half, and now you're back on a defensive half. So the comms and everything should be there. So again, I'm gonna say a 7-3 for Oxygen.
Yeah, I'm thinking I kind of have to agree. I won't go 7-3 to copy exactly. I'm gonna say like
You can copy me.
No, I won't.
It's a good prediction.
I'm going 7-2 because starting on defense
even
can
better.
be such an advantage on Nighthaven Labs. It's very one-sided in terms of the half swap. So my worry is Space Station Academy. Maybe they get 1 or 2 attacking rounds, but by that point they're going into the second half already mentally at a disadvantage, already round count at a disadvantage. They really got to put together some better attacks than what we're seeing at the end of Oregon. And frankly, with a brand new team, with a questionable mental, that's going to be very, very tough for them to achieve against an opponent like Oxygen.
And I just want to say quickly, the pressure is applied on SSG Academy now.
Yeah, it 100% is. I'm excited to see if they can bring that confidence once again, and we can see it follow through with a map win. And for that, it will be Flynn and Jonah yet again to take you through Nighthaven.
Amazing. Thank you, Sierra. It is good to get into Labs, Flynn, because I know we've seen this map in NA 4 or 5 times now, but you and I, we've been casting LATAM the entire stage. And over every single game, and this is double round robin, best of ones, just endless amounts of siege, you and I have not gotten a chance to cast Labs yet. So we are finally diving into this map that we have been asking LATAM teams to pick for so long. It seems in NA they have been a bit less scared of this map, which has been really good to see. And yeah, we get to see SSG Academy, of all teams, picking into this, taking OXG to territory that they may not like so much.
Yeah, 60 BO1s in the group stage for LATAM, and it got played once, and we didn't get to do it. So this is our first opportunity, and I'm excited. And I do think that what Lax and Jesse are talking about on the desk, it does ring very true here. This is an Oxygen team that, while they did start a little slow on the attacking side on Oregon, it's Oregon, and you get to rally off of your defensive victories on Oregon, bring that momentum after that technical rehost into Nighthaven, starting on the defense as well. Similar-ish operators being taken out of play, but we do have a Grim that was taken away on Oregon, back into the rotation in favor of the Dokkaebi being banned out. So the Dokkaebi, the Ying, the Azami, the Tubarão, I think that's 4 of the 5 most common banned operators right now globally. So we're going back to a few more basics here on Nighthaven Labs. On the defense, we're going to be going downstairs to the basement to start things off for Oxygen. Slightly more contrary to what we usually see, which is a top floor server defense beginning things for most teams. And for the Space Station Gaming Academy, we will wait to have these operators locked in. We're getting some new arrivals. Fens showing a Montaigne immediately gets off, so ruins my talking point. But we'll see if Phil sticks the Deimos as well to try and facilitate a roam clear. The good news as well for Oxygen, the Solus being allowed through the ban phase. So Newers gonna have a lot of fun, claiming a lot of real estate and shutting down a lot of intel for Space Station Gaming Academy.
And the Solus is a weapon on every map, but here on Labs, when you just have so much soft destruction at your disposal, such a weapon especially in the hands of someone like Newers, who is not only going to use that Solus scanner to deny the plant to play for that late round, but we typically see Solus players on the roam using that gadget, not just for the diffuser, but to find drones, take care of the information gain that the attack is trying to build, and not to mention figuring out where they're coming from and maybe getting an early kill or two. He is very early at the helm of this defense and potentially getting in the face of this attack, as he is right outside warehouse here where this SSG Academy attack is likely to begin. Working their way in up top into IT as well as throughout this first floor. That is where OXG will have to keep an eye out on. You've got Gomez on the prowl as well. So a little two-pronged roam as far as they are concerned. And SSG Academy, it's just about figuring out exactly what they're dealing with before eventually moving into this site. You see that there are some mute jammers spread around this map that are going to make that a little more difficult than they might like.
We'll see if we can carry some parallels over from Oregon to Nighthaven, as we did see one attempted top clear on that tertiary kitchen and meeting bomb site, attempted by Space Station Gaming Academy, get absolutely rejected at the rim. It was a flawless round in favor of Oxygen. The second time they go for that top clear, a little more successful, but then you have a 2v3 clutch from Yaga and Dream. Top clear this time around, not much opposition standing and fighting. Oxygen taking the opportunity to kill some clock, kill some drones, absorb a little bit of that soft breach utility as some breaching charges were used to facilitate the entry into the map, but they're not staying and fighting. They're not playing their lives. They're playing for the fallback and delaying on the clock, which is doing very well at the moment. Midway through the round here, Space Station Gaming Academy still yet to progress even down to the main floor. Start assaulting the bomb site itself, although as I say that, Newers, yeah, he thought about taking a gunfight over towards Garage, but instead will fall back down those storage stairs to the objective.
But you mentioned the time. That is definitely going to be a concern here for SSG Academy eventually. Only now transitioning from that top floor to the, I suppose, first floor. And yeah, the site is in the basement. They still have a long way to go. Only 50 seconds to do it, and still all 5 defenders, plenty of utility standing in their way. You've got Newers still getting information about where this attack is coming from, and only now are we seeing this exothermic charge go down from JetCon. He just misses the chance to potentially catch Dream on that kill. Dream as well, almost finishing off JetCon with that nitro cell, but just missing the final bit of damage he needed. So again, all 10 operators still in play here. Finally, the first kill on the board will come for SSG Academy first. It is Bay who starts things off.
The garage hatch drop coming in tandem with the Selmas detonating onto the castle barricade, but Fens, before trying to initiate a plant, will have to pull out a goo mine. That hesitation might have been perfect timing, but there goes Dream on the tank window, able to pop up for 2 to level the man count. The diffuser is on the floor, not recoverable at the moment. There goes JetCon in the dying seconds, but he will be felled as well. It's a 1v1 now technically as Vil tries to push his way through tank, but there's no time remaining. Oxygen, they hold out with 1 bleeding out, 1 still standing. It's good enough to get 1 round on the board.
And I will say, for what they had going for them at the time of that execute, SSG Academy, I mean, that was a scrappy attack, and it looked good for the most part in the final few moments. They were coming away with kills that we didn't really think they were going to get, and they did take that down to a 1v1. They really had a chance to close that one out. The problem was the very thing we highlighted about halfway through the round, the time. OXG had done a good job of establishing some early control on the roam, delaying that attack as they were working their way in. By the time SSG Academy were opening up those hatches and making that transition to the push, when Bay eventually got that first kill, I mean, there was what, 20 to 30 seconds left on the clock. There was just far too little time for them to move in without getting a little bit disjointed. And guess who, of all players, took advantage of that? It was Dream. He was playing on the tank window. He denied 2 players who were dropping the hatch, coming right at him and trying to take him down. Obviously, that is easier said than done when you have an anchor like him locking down the site with so little time. There was very little they could do. They came damn near close to pulling it off. And like I said, considering the time they had left, very impressive. But OXG, they maintained the lead for the most of the round, and they ended up taking the victory to start off Nighthaven Labs with a win.
Yeah, it was a good attempt there for the Space Station Academy, trying to split the focus of the attack, having the majority of the push carrying that diffuser and the 3-man tandem all dropping down the hatch into Animus from Garage. You've got Vil flanking down the storage stairs once that attention is fully soaked onto the opposite side. It was a good attempt there, but like you said, no pressure onto the anchors on the bomb site itself. A lot of soft breaching charges being brought, but not many to effect. Not many Oxygen members in the bomb site itself feeling any pressure to be moved off their power positions. JetCon now here in round number 2. He's going to walk headfirst into a mirror window. The big change for Space Station is Fens on the Montaigne, walking through a Dreadnought mine, sees a Nitro Cell right and at his feet. It will clear away the deployable shield as well, so 50 damage is the cost for that shield, and Fens will work his way all the way up the Aqua hallway straight to the bomb site door.
Okay, Focal getting a bit aggressive here with this air jab, but he's in a tough spot. Gotta be careful here. Fens whips out the pistol on the Monty, gets a kill, but ends up going 1 for 1. The same thing goes for JetCon. SSG Academy, they're not messing around here. They're taking this space, and they're taking these kills. It's just Yaga, the only one left. He's able to down Vil. One player outside the breach to his right, the other player on the other side of that mirror window. He's getting sprayed from 2 angles, and he just has so much to worry about. The flashes come in, he just misses Focal. Oh, but he cleans up 1. He can't finish it off, though, as Bay rounds the corner to close it out for SSG Academy. Fens is feeling good, and they will take a messy round win, but a round win nonetheless.
Well, Fens is the Montaigne. He's able to correct a problem that Space Station had in round number 1, which was timing. We are not messing around. We are not going for any extended clears for anyone downstairs. We'll just hold the flank, and we're going to send the Monty up the Aqua hallway door to the bomb site into server. He goes 1 for 1 as Montaigne, which is probably not the ideal scenario to be in as your shield player, but it works out. It's the instigator. He's the tip of the spear that then allows the rest of the attack to descend up those blue stairs and into garage, into the rafters in tandem. So a good distraction again, able to pick up 1 and again absorb a lot of the utility from the Oxygen defense. Now for Space Station, the opportunity arises as they have spotted a strategy that seems to be functional, using that Montaigne to clear a lot of space, grab a lot of map control for free very early on, and this is going to force Oxygen off of the server bomb site defense. They were unsuccessful in winning it, but instead, they will transition now down towards Kitchen, trying to get back on the board. This for Oxygen is an opportunity to shake up the operator lineup. We saw the absence of the Solus in round number 2. She makes her return this time in Yaga's hands for round number 3.
SSG Academy here. We'll see if that pace from round 2 continues. Of course, they really stepped it up, as you mentioned, recognizing that as an issue in that first round loss. You've got someone like Focal, who's bringing out the boogie drones, bringing out the Ram, who really can help to alleviate some of that time pressure. A great way to essentially speed run the soft destruction phase of the round. You throw those drones down, they can do so much work for you. We still have to see SSG Academy get themselves into that position. Now, as far as timing is concerned, this specific bomb site isn't one that is typically going to be a problem. After all, we just saw the exothermic charge on the hatch that was outside. You can crack that open within seconds. There's not going to be much contesting you there. And at any time, there's a hatch and a window you can drop in, you can pop into Kitchen, and there you go. If you really want to make the move, you can. So the option is always there for SSG Academy. The question is how much of a clear, how much map control are they looking to secure if they want to get this push going from the other side? And if they do that, do they have the wherewithal to spot someone like Yaga, who is hunting this attack down if he can? He's on the Solus again. We're seeing the Solus on the roam pretty consistently here on Labs. That's no surprise, but this time he's been spotted.
Yeah, there's a lot of faith being placed in that one air jab, cordoning off Yaga right now on the Solus, because with an impact in the back pocket and the ability to spot it through the wall, that might not be the floodgate you really want to be betting your entire round on. The amount of soft breaches being done upstairs while Yaga is momentarily held in place is good. You can then use that if you lose track of him topside. Only got 1 member topside right now. It's Focal on the Ram. Looks like Fens was sprinting up the stairs to double stack the R4Cs, try and utilize this soft breach down into the bomb site. You can see the horizontal spread coming out from the Oxygen defenders. They have no intention of playing this from within the bomb site. It's really just Dream and Gomez stuck in the Kitchen. Bay will get the opener onto Newers, though, as he starts to work his way in underneath the lobby stairs. Now Vil going for the sprint. He'll be blinded by the Dreadnought mine. The spray comes out from Yaga. He will decimate Vil. Bay hits the floor, and now Fens has to drop down. That's the top control surrendered for Space Station Academy, and the diffuser in the middle of the bomb site in tandem. Fenn's trying to push his way through the lobby breach. Now another Dreadnought mine. It's blinding everyone as they try to push down the corridor. There's nowhere left to go, and Fenn's makes his entry into the site with no vision. Yaga will rip him to shreds with the P90, and Oxygen successfully getting back on the board on the defense.
We have almost never seen such a perfect example of why those Dreadnought mines can devastate an attack. Came down to the final 30 seconds, but there was a good bit of information that SSG Academy had. They knew of Yaga's position. They just had to kill him. Vil knew it. He was going to run down the hallway and try to get that kill, and he probably would have secured it too if it were not for the meddling Dread mine that was in the perfect place to completely blind the Nomad, to completely shut down any chance that SSG Academy had at actually taking a fair fight. And then just about every single kill after that, we saw the same thing. The darkness of the Dread mine clouding their vision. You just have no way to fight back. Again, they came close. They're proving to be a scrappy team. It seems like we are getting a pretty good understanding of why they picked this map. They're quite good on it so far, at least through the mid-round. But they just ran into too much utility, and they just ran into the Fenrir. A brutal ending to an otherwise decent attacking round that they started off with an opening kill. It's been Bay doing that well, but Maeve started hot, came to a cold, cold end.
Well, Oxygen unable to be victorious upstairs. Maybe this is just their MO. Maybe their MO for the rest of this LCQ is going to be, what if we didn't win what is typically a primary bomb site? We decide to win some tertiaries as our backbone. Honestly, it might not be the worst strategy to pull out up against tier 2 teams, just because you're going to have, as a tier 2 team, much more experience attacking your primary and secondary bomb sites instead of those other two elsewhere on the map. Just the nature of being in that position. I think right now for Space Station Gaming Academy, oh my lord, Bay dropping down outside the IT wall, and it is soft, and he's going to lose his soft breach charge as well. He almost caught a headshot on the pre-fire through the wall. Wild Spray is coming out, but Fens has made his way into electrical. He's got pre-fires again, raining down towards him. The shells will rattle off the metal, and Dream will be the first one to drop. Gomez has dropped out of his position topside and pre-placed a Nitro Cell for Dream to call. And there are orange silhouettes circling around that Nitro Cell, waiting for the call to be given to Gomez. They might be able to spot it on the IQ, but for the moment, he's more concerned with the Valkyrie cameras that will be relaying that information.
Starting to see what Laxing and Jesse were talking about with those opening kills, right? In OXG, their kind of shift towards the back half of the stage where things just have not been going their way quite as much. I mean, you lose Dream right away. Usually that last man alive. Same thing goes for Yaga. The two guys that you typically rely on as that anchor presence are the first two to go down. OXG, they're going to have to rely on, well, Diaz, Gomez, and Newers can certainly do it here. In this map so far, they have not been putting up the numbers as their two anchors have been, but this is where they're going to have to step up. It's Newers who will reclaim the first kill. That one's onto Vil there. So the Ash, who's working their way towards Aqua, will go down. Ben's timing there. Had a good read, or looked like had a good read on that position, but eventually turns away, so Newers is able to get away for free. But with this, and knowing that someone's up top, SSG Academy, they know they've got the man advantage if they push the site, so here they go. The coverage from Focal and Bay is perfect, and it's just Gomez, the only player who can deny JetCon right on the other side of the wall. It's not impossible, but as he whips out the Deagle, there's only so much he can do. SSG Academy, good way to bounce back from that and get another attacking win.
You see the changing of philosophy there on the defense for Oxygen, instead choosing to stand and fight and trying to hold out even longer on that extension beyond the bomb site itself, and also being caught on a rotation back. You can see Yaga being shot through the floorboards from the top floor over by Connector and Electrical as he's trying to sprint back towards the bomb site, get back to those exo stairs and return to the objective to join his friends, but it does not work out well. A valiant attempt, though, from Newers to then climb those Aqua stairs and get back into the fight and bring OXG back in. But like you said, Jonah, SSG Academy reading that. As soon as they know that the Solus is now on the very top floor, they know they have a hefty man advantage towards the bomb site itself. That's a troublesome situation to be in, and it was actually Newers who got collected over towards the Exo stairs as well on his return after spotting that everyone had sprinted and dropped down that garage hatch, flood the objective. So a 2-2 scoreline. We go back upstairs to server now for Oxygen on the defense. SSG Academy still bringing out the Montaigne. It's been pretty effective at least drawing the attention of Oxygen. It helped facilitate their round win the last time they attacked onto this bomb site. And for the defense here, again, the absence of the Soul is notable, but in exchange for the Fenrir that SSG Academy had a myriad of troubles dealing with when they attacked onto the kitchen, should still be a very strong utility to be bringing out for Oxygen's defense.
Yeah, SSG Academy having to contend with that Fenrir again, as we talked a good bit about on that previous attack. And, you know, we've always, I've always called them Dread Mines. We got a little fact check on this. Apparently they're called, official name is FNAT Dread Mines, if you want the full name. Either way, as far as SSG Academy are concerned, they got to worry about it. They got to deal with those because we saw how much difficulty it gave them last time. Of course, this attack starting on the top floor, potentially ending up here. It means that it could be a little quicker. Maybe when it comes down to that final push, they won't have to worry about those mines in their way. Right now, the beginning of this round, the first 60 seconds, focusing on who can get this opening duel. It's been Bay so many times. It's Vil this time who wants to get involved on the Ash. A typical role for that entry player, but Vil will not quite find the purchase onto Newers he was looking for. They each exchange a bullet with one another before eventually backing off. SSG recognizing the danger that the mirror window poses, so they break it, and they have a little bit more safety as they work their way around. Right now, SSG Academy, though, all of this attack coming from that garage side, working their way in through IT. Not too much worried about Aqua for now. That's where Oxygen are going to be maintaining that position on the defense.
Yeah, they have made the adaptation to shove Gomez onto the Aqua stairs as the smoke. Say, here you go. You got a shotgun, you got an SMG-11, you got 3 smokes to try and win out your position. And he's doing a very good job of stalling out now. The Nitro cell goes flying, and it will not collect on the intended target. Newers has wide swung plenty of times in this round and walked away scot-free. Yaga collects 2, and suddenly on 10 HP, both of those defenders have flooded the kill feed. And now everyone for Space Station Gaming will hit the floor. It's a flawless round for Oxygen on the defense, correcting mistakes of the past.
There's no doubt that SSG Academy are putting up a fight, but every once in a while, one of these rounds will drop and be like, oh yeah, flawless round, wake up, OXG are the better team. But then the next round, SSG Academy, they fight tooth and nail, they take the round win, and we're back to even. It's just so hard to see which one of these teams is going to break out from this pattern and take the lead and really get a couple of rounds in a row. We haven't seen that yet. Yes, a dominant round for OXG. They just picked apart that attack that got more and more fragmented and individualized as the round continued. I will say, haven't loved the Monty play we've seen from SSG Academy so far. It's been a little messy, even when Fens was able to find a kill. Last time they attacked the top floor, found a kill on the Monty, kind of went for the 1-for-1 trade on the Monty randomly enough, and ended up giving SSG Academy an opening. But that's not usually where you see the Monty played. Usually that's going to be the forefront of your attack that's relying on the teammates behind him to get those kills instead of on the pistol he holds. And in that case, pushing into Aqua, trying to take that space by himself, he had some support from behind, just a bit too late. And naturally, I mean, OXG know what's coming. If they see the Monty, you don't aim your crosshair at the head of the Monty through the shield, you aim your crosshair at the doorway behind the Monty. No doubt there's going to be an attacker swinging, and that is exactly what happened. Yaga allowed to collect some kills there. 7 kills to his name right now, putting on a heck of a performance, and he will be allowed now to retake the mantle of the Solus as a result.
Well, Oxygen, instead of electing to go back to Kitchen, then we're going to go around the world. All 4 defensive bomb sites being played by Oxygen through 6 rounds. And this time we go to storage and cargo to try and lock this one out in the first half for Oxygen, take the 4-2 lead, just as SSG Academy did to them on the Oregon defense. There goes the mirror window getting opened up. And a bait for the exothermic from JetCon. Newers waiting with the nitro cell. It goes soaring, and it will collect onto the thermite. The upside down rappel and the bait, not enough to deceive Newers. And it's the opening pick acquired for Oxygen, but here comes Vil, sneaking his way very slowly. Yellow ping as he's approaching into storage through games. He knows that there's a defender on the other side of the wall from him, but the timing, it's siege timing at its supreme. Vil will still turn the corner and collect onto Dream, so now the bomb site is vacated by Oxygen.
That means that this diffuser's going down. Fens is going to take this opportunity to secure the plant, and OXG, here they come! Gomez, a double kill as he swings the corner. Where was the coverage from Bay? He was asleep at the wheel while the diffuser was going down. It's Yaga to get the next one. It is SSG Academy. It looks like it's all going so well until it came to a brutal end on the other side of an SMG 11. Okel, can he pick up the pieces by himself? No, not so much. SSG Academy, they cannot make it work. And OXG, they finally do secure 2 in a row, and they get the 4-2 half at the switch.
Well, for SSG Academy on the attack there, I guess a good adaptation, a good identification from Vil and from the team as a whole to realize that, okay, we are not getting this IT breach open. There's an open mirror window on it, but it's still going to be problematic for us advancing in and securing the top floor control because we don't want anyone upstairs in server or IT playing kill holes down below on the bomb site. Okay, we identify that Dream is alone on the bomb site. Okay, we can make something happen. We can work with that. The coverage on that plant, though, Gomez rips through them both. It's a tough one if you're SSG Academy. You make the correct read in that position. You force OXG to play retake while you're getting the bomb down. And Gomez says, hi, I have 17 rounds and one of the highest fire rate weapons in the game. I'm going to pick up 2 headshots for nearly free. I don't even think he got hit in return. I don't think he took any damage on that swing. Good save there for Gomez. Good save there for Oxygen to not even need to be in the position to retake in a post-plant situation. Now they'll head on to the attack and Dream, replicating a little bit of what we saw from Space Station Gaming Academy to start the attacking half. He'll be opting onto the Montaigne, and Newers picks up the ace as Yaga at 8-2. Much has been said about Yag, but here he is performing when it really does matter most in a do-or-die game in the first round of the LCQ. 8-2, and he's off the ace.
Let's see if he can keep up that defensive side. I suspect it will stay the same. He's been real hot so far. If we look to round 7, we'll get a chance to see what SSG Academy has cooked up on their defensive side. They, again, picked into this map. This is their pick. They saw OXG play this game against M80. Must have seen something they liked, something they could exploit. You're normally going to see that change being made on the defensive side, but at least for SSG Academy and Fens here, we will not see him able to contribute in this one. He'll go down first at the hands of a, so far, clean Oxygen attack. They're not worrying about taking too much space here, just about finding out where SSG Academy are positioned. They remember Oregon. They know that SSG Academy are going to be ratting in a corner or going for something aggressive. They take the time, they get the information, and only now do they get Dream into the building. Do they get Yaga into the building, and do they start to advance on the site itself?
SSG Academy, hearing the positioning for the attackers over towards Rafters, decide to triple reinforce. They did have this wall to the right of the mirror window soft previously. They back out. They stash a reinforcement in the back pocket. Sounds like a Kai Claw just got shot to facilitate Newers using the Selma, but there is a mute jammer as well. So more obstacles to overcome on the attacking side for Oxygen, trying to work that vertical pressure. Might have actually been Gomez hacking. Instead, it works out all the same. They cleared the mute jammer, the Selma detonates. Now we've got purview from the rafters into the bomb site and server itself. Nightmare scenario for the anchors trying to hold on, and here comes Dream now carrying that diffuser, going for the wraparound at the top of the Aqua stairs. Bay, he wins out on the snap towards the bottom of the stairwell, and now he's got 2 attackers directly in front of him, tries to bait the ADS. Vil will have his backup, though, to decapitate the Montaigne, but now he's stuck between a rock and a hard place behind the desk inside a server.
Yeah, Bay was in the trenches there. He ends up going down, but like you said, a trade was found. However, Oxygen quickly recovering. Yaga, Newers, it's just Jetcon that remains. We'll see the little clutch attempt here from him. I know I've seen it from him in the past. He's gonna have to pull this one out without a nitro cell now. He turns the corner and Newers is waiting. OXG, first attack goes their way.
Good job for the remaining OXG attackers to stay moving there, because you could see Jetcon had the read. He knew that nitro into IT would have been effective if Diaz or Newers hadn't moved out of that position at the proper time. OXG, a chaotic one towards the bomb site, but They hit everything on the checklist quite well. They remove their impediments to facilitate the hard breach. They make life as miserable as possible for the anchors trying to hold out into the bomb site, leaving the only option at that turn to look around and try and find a fight, find a pick, try and level the man count, find some new space. Because the space you were trying to occupy before, that real estate, it's no longer safe. And now for Oxygen, up 5-2, winning their first attacking round. This is going to force SSG Academy into a situation of dire straits. They are now 2 rounds away from being eliminated from the last chance qualifier. It is worth reminding everyone, there's no losers bracket here. There's no safety net. This is best of 3s, single elimination. You lose the series, and it's over. And you look to the offseason, and you look to stage 2 later on in 2024. Oxygen, it was a slow start. They seem to be on quite a torrid pace at this moment.
And I will say for SSG Academy, the fact that they've got to this point, it's a great sign for their team. It's a great sign for this group of guys who kind of combined forces after Element 2 a few months ago. You have 3 members of that original SSG Academy roster from that time. It was Focal, JetCon, and Vil on that team. You bring in Fens, he was playing on Envy at the time. You bring in Bay, who was playing on Aerial Arise. A lot of capable players. They work their way through the open qual, through the closed qualifier bracket, and they get to this point. They take down Los on the way. I mean, we've been following some of these guys for a long time. I mean, me personally, I've known JetCon for three and a half, 4 years at this point. I started casting in collegiate, and he was there the entire way, playing on Akron Esports, dominating the collegiate scene, right? That transition to T3, T2 hasn't been as clean as you might have expected, but overall, I mean, this team is showing some promise. They just have to try to piece something together here on Labs. They're in a 3-round hole. And yeah, if they want to have any chance of playing for the major, not something a lot of these guys get to do, they are a long way away. They're going to lose 2 bodies here early. They were able to get the trade onto Gomez, but OXG, they've got a 4v3 here, about halfway through round number 8.
Yeah, Vil with a pretty tragic one there is tried his luck for the second time. He nearly got caught out from Gomez. And actually his teammate had to save him there as the wall got skeleton keyed from behind. JetCon though will level onto Yaga, but Vil tries to reascend the Aqua stairs and he gets caught out by Newers. So a lot of soft breach being done onto the second floor. Again, of note, the bomb site is in the basement. Fens is going to be droned out here. No amount of intel on that drone is going to save him from the information being relayed to Oxygen. So now in the 3v3, you get to work towards the bomb site. You still got boogie drones. You still got breaching charges. You still got Selmas. There's a lot left to be done here for Oxygen, but they have the tools in the back pocket necessary to facilitate and execute onto the bomb site. It seems like the focal point of that execute is going to end up being right here by these cargo stairs.
Have to worry about the impacts and the C4 from JetCon. They've got utility, but so does the defense, right? There's still a lot standing in their way. Dream, oh, he's got some information about this player just behind that pillar and tank. Oh, it's Newers from the hatch, though, who ends up getting the kill onto Fens. He drops down. He's looking to make the move next. He's now joined by Dream close behind. Flashes will come in, and JetCon knows. Oh, but he's blinded. He knows there's someone on the other side of the wall, but he can't do anything about it. Dream will go for this diffuser. We see the utility coming out, but OXG, the coverage is perfect. They take their 6th round, and this one looks like it is as good as over. SSG Academy, unless they wake up soon, Nighthaven Labs, Oxygen might just be winning this map for the first time.
I think that is the difference between what we saw at Space Station Gaming Academy the first time they attacked that bomb site versus what we saw from Oxygen. Both rounds, both attacking sides entertained a roam clear. They met some resistance and the fallback towards the bomb site from the defenders, but with similar amounts of time on the clock and similar amounts of utility, OXG are able to convert much better and work together much better in those dying moments of the round to open up the round and open up the ability to enter the bomb site versus SSG Academy just looking for OXG to give them something. Oxygen were very proactive at the end of that round in finding the pick onto the Solus and making sure that there was no safe haven for her to play in and be a nuisance for the remainder of that round. Oxygen now, very, very promising attacking rounds this far, and now they look to close it out at a 7-2 score line. This is much better attacking prowess that we've seen from Oxygen as compared to Oregon. And this might, again, start to be a map that maybe we think about Oxygen playing a little more often. Like Jesse said, This would be the first organizational history W on this map. Not many plays of it, but still. It would be the first one in history against a T2 team. As a T1 team, there's obviously a little bit of a balancing that needs to be done in terms of expectations. But still, Oxygen, I think, exceeding expectations in terms of their own performance on this map thus far.
Yeah, certainly so far so good, and still wondering exactly what SSG had in mind when you go to this map. It was a surprise to see, right, a team with a little bit less experience, well, comparatively to Oxygen, a whole lot less experience as a unit, right, as a core 5. On this map, you don't typically see that from your T2, T3 teams. You generally see them go to your more standard, your Oregons, your Cafes, your Clubhouses of the world to see what they can pull off there. Clearly, they had some plan in mind going to this map that just has not been realized, as OXG seem to have tidied things up since their lackluster performance here against M80 not too long ago. This round may end with a bang, though, as Dream, bringing out the Blitz, will be looking to get a little bit crazy. He's got the flash shield, of course, and the ability to really take these close quarters gunfights at ease. Not too many of those close quarter gunfights I imagine SSG are going to allow to happen early on in this round. They're not establishing that immediate rotate on the wall. I think they get that reinforcement off next to that mirror window, maybe not in time. So yeah, it looks like Yaga is peeking this. So they have not closed that back up, which does mean that if that Blitz rounds the corner, he could certainly find what he's looking for.
You can see everybody hitting the deck for Space Station Gaming Academy inside the bomb site. Yellow ping's coming out from those Valkyrie cameras, but the pre-fires to the soft wall, they will not find a home. Focal now playing aggressive up on that IT door. Gonna wait for the corner to be rounded by Yaga, but instead the smoke obfuscates his vision. Bay gets the opener onto Dream. Now the press up into Rafters as Bay perseveres on about 5 HP. Returning to the bomb site just to join everyone. You can see all 3 members of the Academy defense stacked inside of the bomb site. Focal goes for the swing inside of IT. The mirror window gets popped as there's 2 attackers pressing from the top of the Aqua stairs. Newers will get dropped and finished off by that TCSG. Vil missing crucial shots as he has to hit the deck to safety, springs into action but failed, and now the frag grenade being caught by the magnet's gonna force Diaz to evacuate the situation, and now JetCon finds another victim. It's a technical 2v3 as Vil is downed and cannot be revived from behind that desk. The frag grenade will confirm that, but both attackers now for Oxygen trying to push their way in through the double hallway at the top of the Aqua stairs. Bailing point blank range with a shotgun in hand. He's on 5 HP though. The adrenal surge, it won't be enough to boost up Diaz. Gomez hits the floor as well, and the Space Station Academy are not done yet.
SSG Academy, stay alive. Still in this fight on Labs here for a bit longer, doing a nice job of, again, thriving in the chaos. This is something we've said they've done pretty well throughout this series. We saw that from them on Oregon. They kind of like to create these messy situations at the last minute, and honestly, a good chunk of the time they've come out on top. It's an unusual pattern, but it's one that they are more than happy to capitalize on there. Very messy, several times where it looked like they could have easily been torn to pieces. I think Vil behind the desk is the biggest example of that, as he was in an opportunity to get 2, maybe 3 kills, ended up getting 1 and then eventually going down to a nade and finished off there. But yeah, an easy situation where SSG Academy could have won that round more dominantly, but also lost that one very quickly. It looks like the plan there for OXG just didn't pan out. They ended up approaching from Aqua, kind of the final 3 attackers, all from the same angle. And SSG Academy, yes, they're down right now. There's a 3-round deficit, but they're gonna hit those shots. If they know where you're coming from, JetCon started to heat up there. He found his 8th kill on the round. You've got Bay with 7. Decent performance there to close things out, at least to get 1 more round before this one eventually ends.
You do have to admire the perseverance and the patience, honestly, from the Academy team on that defense, just with how many avenues and sight lines were opened up in towards the bomb site. We had 3 defenders almost every single second of the latter portion of that round stacked right there inside of the server, and yet nobody really panicked. Nobody really felt like this was untenable. They still felt like they could hold their positions long enough to complete the objective, and they did so quite well. Now Newers, he is spotting that once again, we do have a boss G from Vil roaming around, just like the last time they defended this bomb site. Vil tried to go up for a second dose of engagement with Newers at the top of these stairs the previous time they defended this site as well. The roam clear for Oxygen, well, it has taken a minute. They haven't done a whole lot to dissuade any of these defenders from holding and maintaining their positions on the top floor as of yet. Gomez also not in a position to get immediately smoked after he opens this wall into server.
You see Diaz, he's got a pretty good idea of what he's dealing with thanks to the IQ. Knows the kind of utility that may be standing in their way, but still has to find a way to pinpoint, well, Vil and Focal. They're on the other side of the map, this information roaming duo over in Aqua right now. Fens will end up going down first. Really have not seen him come into, you know, the role that we know he can be. It was quiet on map 1. I think it was 5 and 7 at the end of things. Fens now 4 and 9, and yeah, needing to see him heat up a little more if SSG Academy want to make this comeback happen. We're seeing, you know, every once in a while, someone's coming in with a good performance. It was JetCon in the last round. We've seen Bay do it before, but need to see this roster spread the love a little bit more, because in a situation like this, you've now lost to JetCon already. You're going to have to claw your way back from this awkward spot. Bay's been able to do that with 2. We missed those, but with the Vector on the Mira, he picks up 2. Vil, Boss G looking for something, trying to hit a clip against OXG maybe, as this could be the final round, but not quite. He won't find his opportunity just yet. Bay will. He'll get his triple. Newers will get down. SSG Academy, the mid-round comeback, leaves Diaz all alone.
Barring, yeah, there won't be an incredible comeback there from Oxygen. I was going to say, hats off to Bay. That man deserves a medal for the round, and it's because he was alone on the bomb site when he got that double kill. Oxygen reading that Focal and Vil said, "We do not care what you do. We're not leaving the top of Aqua Stairs." The Mira is alone on the objective with a Vector against the world. The crushing power of a T1 team outnumbering you and flooding you on the bomb site, and yet he wins out. We didn't see how he won out, but those circumstances are dire, and yet he still perseveres and exceeds the expectations in that position, and that buys the time for Focal and Vil to get back to the bomb site and help cut off attackers as they try to enter in as well to follow up onto Bay. And Bay even gets a third one for his trouble in the next engagement. So a tactical timeout coming out from Oxygen as they look to readdress the situation. Still in the driver's seat, still in control here as they're up 6-4, dropping 2 consecutive rounds. Still gives them 2 to play with before we could potentially head to overtime here on map number 2. Again, it would be quite the clawback here for SSG Academy to push this thing into overtime after the 6-2 scoreline we saw, but don't count them out. They are on the defensive side on Nighthaven.
Yeah, may have spoken a little bit too soon. We're seeing SSG Academy make something happen here, at least for 2 rounds in a row. But they're going to need 2 more. A tall task, but one that, at least over the last 2 rounds, they've proven to be up to. Again, Bay. We're talking about how 1 or 2 players have been stepping up on a per round basis. That time it was Bay. Clear an example of that. I think one of our observers crashed and left the lobby, so that's why we didn't actually see what Bay was up to when those kills happened, but I'm sure it was sick. I mean, to get those 3 kills, I mean, come on. You got to be feeling
We'll see it on Twitter later.
Exactly. I'm sure we'll get a chance to see that, but no, you're right. It is another situation where SSG Academy, they just kind of claw it back from what felt like certain defeat. What, they lost the first 2 kills there. I mean, that was a brutal place to begin. Speaking of, Bay, using the Valk cameras, getting a bit of information. He goes for the run out, and he hits the shot. What a way to start. Just after a hot round, he now racks up another kill, bringing his tally to 11, and using a Valk camera in a good old-fashioned outdoor way. We don't see that much anymore. Bay taking full advantage of that 10-second countdown timer before the camera expired to get a bit of information. He acted on it. Great way to begin.
I'm also pretty convinced here that Diaz was integral to the push, whatever this tac timeout was called to arrange. Diaz brought out the M590, the shotgun on the Deimos, and he gets ripped apart as he tries to approach the map. And honestly, that's a fine sacrifice. That's a good little trade-off there from Bay. Sacrifices one Valkyrie camera, like you said, Jonah. It's only active for 10 seconds outside before it's no longer in range and usable by the defenders. You trade that for a kill onto the Deimos, especially. You've got the Finka coming out with the Montaigne. There was a plan in place for Oxygen, and now with that opening death, they're having to scramble and adjust the plan slightly. This is a storage and cargo defense coming out for SSG Academy. They've been on a bit of a tear lately, and Dream's going to run into his first opponent, Yaga, through the wall with the ping support from Dream. Will level the man count, and that is the Yokais taken out of play. They'll still be stable as cameras, but they will not be able to impact the rest of the round, and most notably, they won't be able to force the shield away from Dream. Pei getting caught out now on the pillar. Inside his server, tries to back away. He'll get knifed down and finished off by Dream, so a man disadvantage quickly turns to a man advantage for Oxygen.
And now that is how you play with the Monty. What SSG Academy were trying to do on the attack, OXG are doing beautifully right now, and it is all coming into place. It was Dream with the information for the first, with the pistol for the second, Gomez who collects the third, and in this 4v2, they are only, well, a kill and a half away as JetCon gets lit up from closing this one out. It's gonna have to be the miracle from JetCon and Vil. We saw it from Bay last time, but it will not be JetCon. It will have to be Vil on the Solus. He's got 2 impacts, he's got the P90, and he's gotta go massive. It looks like he's gonna choose the flank. All the way around the other side, Plant going down, Gomez on the coverage, and Oxygen close it out in 2. They have taken 1 round later than Laxing predicted, but both Laxing and Jesse, they were right. OXG in 2. They remedy their Nighthaven Lab troubles. And SSG Academy, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to one of our T2 contenders here in this LCQ.
Yeah, the 1 seed in the LCQ comes away with the victory over the 8 seed in the LCQ. The result may have been expected, but Oxygen's run of form as of late had caused some questions. SSG Academy's hot start in terms of ramping up the tempo and coming away with some round victories on Oregon gave us pause, but in the end, Oxygen, they close it out quite swiftly. A little bit of a run back there for SSG Academy on the defensive side on Nighthaven Labs, but clinical response there, even suffering the opening death there onto the Deimos, still able to recover with Dream on that Montaigne, acquire the space, and secure the round, secure the map, secure the best of 3 win. Now they'll move on to the semifinals of the last chance qualifier.
Right, we had a lot of doubts about OXG and their ability to close things out in a best of 3. Hot start to the stage in the best of 1s, cooled off in the second half. Playoff comes around, best of 3 against M80, nope. Best of 3 against Dark Zero, got murdered. They come here in the LCQ and they remedied those issues. They take care of SSG Academy, the expected result, but a good fight nonetheless. We still have to break this one down, and we still have another series tonight. We'll bring the desk back in just a few minutes though, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, and with that, Oxygen Esports are going to take the 2-0 over SSG Academy. I mean, realistically, Jesse, when we're looking at the scenario, this is the most likely outcome. First seed going up against the 8th seed. But it was important for us for how that victory happened.
Yeah, and I was a little bit worried, right? Start of the series, we saw Oxygen struggling to get those rounds on Oregon, but you know what? They found their stride at the end of that first map, and it really felt like they never let their foot off their gas. Yeah, there were a couple of rounds at the start of Nighthaven where they gave a couple of defenses, but it really felt like Oxygen were in control throughout this map. Really felt like they knew what they were doing on Nighthaven Labs. So I'm very happy to see them not only stop their slide where they've been losing their last couple of games in a row, but also finally find a dub on Nighthaven Labs. This map has always kind of plagued OXG. They've never been able to find a win on it before, so nice to see them breaking kind of 2 curses at once for this match.
Just in time, too. You know, when your back's against the wall, a loss here is just going to end your dream for the major here, Lax. But no, I want to see more of it coming out forward, but these are definitely some good beginning signs. And a map that was kind of, you know, intriguing with the history that they had never won on here before.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, Jesse wants to talk about the team finding their stride. Let's talk about Yaga finding his stride. This is finally a game where we saw Yaga really come alive and really shine and be the player that I've talked about that he can be. He's such a pivotal piece of this team. But throughout this stage, we just have not seen it. Throughout playoffs, we have not seen it. But finally, we get to the LCQs, and we are seeing Yaga come into full fruition of what we've seen him do. We just have to continue to see this. And even for Dream's sake, Dream having success now. Having all 5 players firing on all cylinders is just going to make Oxygen the team that they need to be and make this run for Manchester.
For sure. And I mean, you even see the top player in the lobby, Bay. I don't want to take anything away from him. I think Space Station Gaming Academy certainly had some big moments. Bay, obviously, those last couple of rounds on defense really was popping off, had some brilliant plays to come through, especially the Valkyrie run out even towards the end there. I mean, we saw some cool stuff coming through. But in the end, I think those attacks just still were hurting Space Station Academy too much. That's something that they've got to work on, got to get better, is just coordinating some of those takes to come through. They're a brand new team, so you expect these problems to be here. You expect them to struggle a little bit on that attacking half. And, you know, it wasn't good enough to beat Auction today, but I think they can still walk away from this feeling like a good team through Tier 2, feeling like they have hopefully learned something as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it best. They are a brand new team. There still is a lot of things to be learning. You are going against a team like Oxygen, and all these players here are veterans at this point, and they all have that experience. So yes, you are a brand new team. But when you look at the scores with the 7-5, 7-4, that's nothing that you should just shake off. You were testing Oxygen and pushing them to maybe not the limit of an OT, but you were really showcasing your potential. And if they stay together and they continue to play like this, and the fact that we have open qualifiers for people to be tending majors from a T2 or T3 scene, it's so important, it's so pivotal to just stay as a team and consistently work together. And now, especially when you show performance like this, you now could possibly be a scrim partner for one of these T1 teams, and that's only going to make you improve going forward.
It's what I want to see coming out here too, because of course, when we're looking at these teams that have made their way through the qualifiers, it's the both things. We want to see hopefully them put up a good performance, but also kind of what this Tier 2 talent could be facing off against this Tier 1 talent. Right now, though, we do have to celebrate Oxygen in their win. And on standby, well, I have Dream to chat a little bit more about the match. First off, I have to say congratulations on the 2-0 here is up. I want to talk about just the map in general to kick things off. You had said in a post-game interview before that you didn't want to take a team that, like, I'm paraphrasing probably wrong, so excuse me here, but you never want to take a team we're better than to Oregon. Realistically, Oxygen should be better than SSGA, and you still took them to Oregon, so I'd love to thought process behind that one.
I think we're just really good at it, and there's just no surprises when you go to Oregon, right? Like, it's so basic and default, everyone's kind of done everything, so you know what to expect. So, like a newer team that we don't have a lot of info on is, it just should be like a win for us, because we're just the better players at the end of the day.
It's safe. Make sure you can get the dub. I respect it. I want to talk about the beginning of that Oregon comparison to the end of it as well, because once we hit the map, Oxygen was a little slow to start, and considering it was a little reminiscent of issues during the end of stage 1, how do you then get that energy back and get that confidence back mid-map to turn it around?
I would say for Oregon in particular, like, everybody knows Oregon attacks are going to be rough. Realistically, you should be winning most of your defenses. So when you go down 2-4 on our Oregon attack, like, we did our job, we got our 2 rounds, that's all we need. And then we just close it out on the defense. Like, that map's so defender-sided, like, we knew we had it in the bag.
I'm glad to hear the confidence even now coming out from you that you have it in the bag. Last but not least, I want to talk about Oxygen going forward in this last chance qualifiers. How are you feeling about the state of the team? Is there something that you're still like, okay, we need to fix this? Or how are you feeling coming out of the series?
Honestly, after our losses the past like few weeks or so, we really like came together as a team, really like went over, talked about everything. And I'm more confident than I was at the beginning of the season, honestly. I think the team has what it takes. We put in the time, we put in the effort, and it's just showing up on game day, showing we want to be at Manchester, want to win, and just play the best we can.
I love to see that confidence, and I definitely wish you luck going on to semis and hopefully on further. Dream, congratulations again on this win. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
As for us, back over to the desk. Hey, I mean, top of the day, we were talking about an Oxygen, needing to see that confidence, whatnot. I mean, Laxine, you heard it from Dream himself. Like, you're feeling that confidence.
Yeah, but again, you still got a long road to finish out. And we did see it again. We saw Oxygen start out very strong, and then we saw them taper off, and they would try to find their footing again, but then still would taper off. So as much as I want to give them praise, this is a game that you should be winning. So I can't sit here and be all giddy, even if I said that they were going to be the team to win. This is a game that you should realistically win. And then the rounds were close. Again, it's not to take anything away from Academy, but you are a high-level, top-tier pro team. So I don't want to give you any kudos because you got this win under your belt.
I will agree, but also disagree. Like, yes, you should be beating Space Station Academy. That's fine. But the players who are stepping up in particular for me were the players that we were seeing struggle. Yaga in particular has been so poor statistically throughout the stage, losing so many of his gunfights, getting caught out early, not able to stay alive. Both maps today, he really popped off. He was the main player for them. I know we highlighted Newers as the best player, and yeah, Newers is always going to be up there.
It's hard not to talk about Newers.
It's hard not to talk about Newers, but I really do think Yaga was one of the most impactful players for Oxygen all throughout the day, and that's the player who's been sleeping. So if we see now Yaga continuing to put this performance up against the other teams in this last chance qualifier, Oxygen very well could be back, and they could be the favorites to win this whole LCQ.
It's exciting. I'm excited to hear about it reformed Oxygen. Of course, we're not going to see them again until Wednesday now that they're in the semis, and we still have to figure out who their opponent's going to be. We have Wildcard going up against Sonic's next lax, and I mean, if things are going to get more difficult for Oxygen, anyone that keeps pushing their way on through.
Well, I just want to say this should be easy peasy for Oxygen when you look at these two teams, because these were one of the two teams, well, both teams that they did find success through the regular stage. So that's got to feel good, because again, we saw in that graph that I was showing that, you know, DZ's not in this. So this automatically leaves so much pressure. M80, DZ, like that alleviates so much pressure off Oxygen's shoulders that they should be able to focus up going into whoever they go against, whether it's Sonics, whether it's Wildcard, and going forward. But again, I do like what Jesse said. I think it is important to touch up on Yogg and Dream finding their performance, finding their footing, but I have to see it when they are going against these T1 teams going forward.
Well, we've gotten to see the step up from Oxygen. Now to time to see if we can see the same coming out from Sonics and Wildcard after this short break.